Rules build up fortifications behind which small minds create satrapies. A perilous state of affairs is the best in the best of times, disastrous during crises. Bene Gesserit Coda. Welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. I am Eric at Marone Recluse on Twitter, your chronicler for this epic multi-arc awesome adventure series, which continues tonight with our storyline, Heir Apparent. This program features adult situations and language and may not be suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. We are Vorpal Tales, and we play a wide assortment of games, 7 days a week, that fall into two categories: awesome adventures and terrifying tales. Awesome Adventures are airing this month on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Terrifying Tales on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So be sure to check the calendar on vorpaltales.com to stay up to date with all of our shows. Vorpal Tales is sponsored in part by Wales Whiskey, always Wales Whiskey, always a whale of a good time, and Large Marge's Donut Barn, home of the best donuts you've never had. Dune Adventures in the Imperium is out now, so don't forget to pick up your copy in PDF on DriveThruRPG and in physical copy at modifius.com/Dune. While you're on our DriveThruRPG, check out some of our very own Vorpal Tales supplements that are available for sale. They include characters, monsters, and scenarios made for some of the games we play weekly. Remember to follow Modifius Entertainment and Vorpal Tales on Twitch. Visit our website to find the link to join our Discord. We are on most major social media outlets, including YouTube, where you can catch up on previous episodes. So remember to follow, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all the updates. We want to thank Modifius Entertainment for making awesome games for us to play and for providing support to their players. Modifius is also hooking us up with some DriveThruRPG gift certificates worth $10 for folks who follow us on Twitch and are active in the chat for the first initial episodes of our game. Everyone likes free RPG stuff, so don't forget to sub and stay active in the chat during the game for your chance to win. A heartfelt thanks goes out to Tyler's brother at Nate Mid for the awesome character sheets he makes for all of our games. We want to give a special shout out to Infraction and Blear Moon for use of their music. You can find more excellent ambient sounds and tunes over at blearmoon.bandcamp.com and on freemusicarchive.org. Also, we want to thank Astral Virtual Tabletop for being the platform of choice, perfect for hosting our games and providing excellent music for us to play. As always, we would like to give a big thanks to our patrons for supporting what we do and for helping us to grow. Special shout out for Hex and Curse. Be sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/VorpalTales to find out how you too can be awesome and support what we do. And last but certainly not least, thank you, our viewers and fans, for tuning in. Special shout out to Geeky Teas and Games. Thank you for following. Our house entourage is here and ready to engage in the deadliest of intrigues. Agents of the Imperium, remind our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Beginning with Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel. You can find me in Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere. You can also find me on Kickstarter right now. A game that I worked on, Mora, the Cinematic Universal Gaming System, is on Kickstarter. It's really cool. It's only been going for a day, and we already have over 100 backers, and we're halfway to our goal. So go check that out, please, and thank you.
Thank you. And Sean?
Oh, hey, it's me. Hey, I'm Sean at Space Lord PJs, and tonight I will be playing Davos Blood, the smuggler.
Yeah. Devin?
Hello all, I am Devin. You can find me online at Sorta Sully, and tonight I am playing the Bene Gesserit Norma.
Right. Ever?
Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them, and tonight I shall be playing Lysander, who is the swordmaster of the house.
And Key.
Hello, I'm Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama, and tonight I will be playing Pardo Reed, the Mentat.
And last but not least, Tyler.
I'm Eldritch Echoes Online, and I will be playing Gwillian, the House Spymaster, and now the rich one. And I will second what Rachel said. Go check that out, because, I mean, who wouldn't want to pay money to punch Nazis?
Seriously. Thank you. Now, if it pleases the audience, could ever please regale us with your excellent retelling of the previous session?
That depends. Will it please the audience?
I have a good feeling it is.
I'm sorry. To finish last week's creation session, we now create the house major we and our rival houses are attached to. It's established that Daphne's uncle by marriage currently rules the House Major, named by our audience as House Junenbar, whose rival is of Cardes. We open back in the room with the dead woman, who appears to have been dead for a day or so. She died here, stabbed in the back with a lethal needle. Gwalion examines the body and identifies the poison as Parmabat, and this is a botany kill, which is both odd and ominous, as no one has heard of the botany for years. He shares this with his companions, just as housekeeping knocks. Meanwhile, Byron escorts Lady Daphne and her entourage through the casino, leading them to his rather opulent office. Lady Daphne makes herself comfortable at Byron's invitation, though Lysander and Pardo both prefer to remain standing. He seems nervous? Pardo picks up on his nervousness and spots him trying to hide something. Byron greets Lady Daphne, and the two of them engage in a bit of verbal dancing. Daphne picks up he's holding something back while hoping to get information, likely about her mission. But Byron lets slip his own morsel of information. Lyra knows where Celeste is. Just as he reveals this, the casino guards discover the palm-locked door and raise a ruckus. Byron sends his guards to deal with it, who are quickly turned away by Gwalion as Lyra, assuring them everything's fine. While Byron and his guards are distracted, Pardo slips over to read the papers Byron tried earlier to hide. They're finance documents of some kind, showing a steep financial dive over a long period of time, and then sudden prosperity. After Byron rushes the entourage out of the office, Davos intercepts them and escorts them back to a bug-swept room. Gwalion reveals Lyra is dead. Daphne gets extremely paranoid, thinking Byron probably wasn't also trying to set her up to be killed. She presents the three questions before them. Who killed Lyra? Why did they kill her? And where is Celeste? Pardo quickly concludes, someone else is here, trying to intercept Daphne's package. Norma, however, has some insider information about our quarry. She volunteers that Celeste also goes by Kyra. Kyra,
correct.
And is an intersex person capable of shifting easily between male and female. She also has a little Bene Gesserit training. Davos produces a journal written by Lyra and found evidence that a member of the Imperial Court may have visited Celeste earlier. Norma decides to visit Byron on her own. To give her space to manipulate Byron, Gwalion creates a distraction by fomenting a bar fight. After a brief round of flirting, Norma uses her voice to demand being shown to Celeste's room. Byron chases the Orgiers out so Norma can study the room for any clues. She finds Bene Gesserit code. The lion beckons with a golden opportunity. I walk into its den to protect my children. It is an oppressive garden, predecessor to Arrakis, successor to Seleucia for the Zen Sunni. Norma spots Byron trying to leave and stops him. Byron claims not to know what happened to Celeste, but he's clearly lying. What aren't you saying? She demands. She took the nobleman's offer. She left, but I knew something they didn't know. People around here get to talking. Lyra told me everything. She was royalty, so as soon as I found out something, I told them. They gave me Solaris for it, he confesses, invoking houses Iasi and Moritani. Norma recognizes Iasi and Moritani as houses defeated during the War of Assassins. Moritani in particular was a great house. Celeste was Kyra. Kyra was royalty of a defeated house and hid out here. When Byron learned who she was, he sold her out to House Moritani. Norma extracts a favor from Byron before letting him flee. She returns to our room, saying we must leave immediately. Gwylian remains behind to observe how Byron and the rest of Harem react. Pardo gives him a plastic explosive to use as needed to send a message. Meanwhile, Daphne and the rest of the entourage tries to move discreetly, yet quietly, to an exit. When it goes sideways, Daphne refuses to leave without her house members. Lysander goes full blades blazing. This guy, Lysander decides, doesn't need hands. Neither does his partner. Pardo chases down this third guard and stabs him in the kidney with a bodkin knife. Pardo gives it a little twist before retreating. Davos orders Norma to not let Daphne out of her sight before leaping into the fray. He draws enough attention to allow Lysander and Pardo to swing back around to the ground car. We're still under fire, but no one is taking injuries. Gwylian is left behind, but that's how he likes it. He pulls one of his own assassins out of the crowd, hands him the explosive Pardo gave him, and directs him to Byron's office. Now Gwylian can focus on observing this murder scene. After he receives orders from his master. That's not good. Back in the ground car, House Cheshire decides to go to ground and examine what they've learned. Daphne puzzles over the riddle. Norma recognizes the Zensuni as a reference to a nomadic family prison planet. The phrase, "The lion beckons with golden opportunity," conjures an image of the golden lion throne of House Carino itself. Also, Kyra had more than one offspring. Pardo picks up a pattern in the order of the planets, with Arrakis the last in the order. Studying a map of the Imperium, he comes up with one name: Ischia. Daphne recognizes Ischia as a holdings planet belonging to House Carino, which may hold vast stockpiles of spice. Someone from the Imperial Court made Celeste an offer. She accepted to protect her children. She is on, or headed, to Ischia. But how do we get into an Imperial spice stockpile? We all look to Davos. Davos reaches out to his contacts, learning the planet has been importing both plants and large containers. He arranges both a smuggle and a legitimate business transaction. We spend a few days in close quarters before arriving at Shari, a large city on Ischia. Lady Daphne uses her social awareness to determine where Celeste might be found. She knows even exiles of the Imperium have a place, even here. House Angeru supervises this planet, direct servants of House Carino. Daphne tasks Norma with making contact with House Angeru. Norma decides to put on her Bene Gesserit robes, swanning past the house guards. You will be assisting the Sisterhood now. I am looking for someone. She describes Celeste without naming her and demands their help. A tall man walks into the room. He introduces himself as Cyprius Dortuja, the treasurer of House Angeru, and asks how he might serve the Bene Gesserit. Norma repeats her request for information on Celeste. She picks up that while this man is an agent of House Angeru, he is absolutely not the treasurer. He's an intelligence officer, and they are being monitored. Norma convinces him to introduce her to the real Cyprius Dortujla, who appears as an extremely elderly man. He wants to know who exactly Norma is after. Norma decides to cut through the bullshit and names Kyra. Cyprius says they don't have her, the Emperor's people do. He also reveals that the Emperor's people keep a close watch on Kyra, especially near the village of Sulu in the La Somme Valley and Sand Peak Mountains. Norma returns and gives us the basic information. Gwyllian produces a breadth of knowledge regarding the strategic spice reserves held on this planet, but takes care to share this only with Norma. He does share, however, that he's managed to steal about half a kilo's worth of melange from the Emperor's private stores. The first thing we do is stage a raid on a Carino spice stockpile, arranged by Davos. We travel by camel caravan to Sul, a journey of several days. It's a small trading village, and we arrive after sundown. Davos, making his rounds, finds himself in an inn, where a painting depicting a hill with a cottage on top hangs. That's probably a clue of some kind. Stepping out, he notices a few differences between the painting and the landscape as it really is. He strikes up a conversation, asking what it is. Ah, those are the protected lands. The Emperor guards them. No one goes there. The painting commemorates a wedding, which happened 10 years ago. The bride's name was Kyra, but he can't quite remember the groom. Now, we just have to figure out how we're going to infiltrate the cottage without attracting the Emperor's attention.
Excellent, thank you. So you had all settled into this inn in the small village of Seoul, and had acquired accommodations there to prepare. You got there like close to the end of the day. You were quite tired after several days of traveling through the merchant caravans from Shia. So you had set up for the evening to try to get some rest. Davos, however, was waiting for a notification from his contact. After the staged spice stockpile raid, you recognize the telltale sound of suspensor engines outside the quaint little village of Seoul, very out of place. And you know immediately, with these sounds arriving in the dead of night, that these are the people that you've been waiting to receive word from. You meet with them outside. Your contact tells you, when I went out without a hitch, it seems like they weren't expecting our arrival. Everything went surprisingly well. We got in, we got what we needed, and we got out. Hopefully that'll provide enough of a distraction, or whatever it is that you need. It's like, and he asked for his payment. Do you do anything aside from that? Do you ask him any questions or anything like that?
Davos would just kind of ask him probably, like, what were their tactics? How fast did they respond? Like, did they send the whole force? Like, what were the sort of logistics of the whole situation?
From what your people told us, from what the intel that you got us, they have something like 200 people out in that outpost out by the Sand Peak Mountains. But at this stockpile, it seemed pretty reserved. And it's like they barely gave a chase. It was surprising, to be honest.
Does that seem unusual?
For Imperial Sardaukar? Yes.
Yeah.
They must be getting stirred up by Squad Jabroni 1. Thanks for following.
Squad Jabroni. Great names.
Huh. It almost sounds like the spice is not the important thing. Huh. Okay. I'd give him his cut, probably out of the proceeds of of the legitimate transaction I brought in, and then I'd go over to the spy master and kind of report what happened, just to
private.
Yeah, definitely in private, just so that not everybody's, not to keep it from the group, but don't need to know, sort of
Sure.
thing.
Compartmentalization. Yeah.
Right. Just trying to think of anything else. Did it seem like they were guarding something else in addition to the spice? Like the spice wasn't as important as whatever something else might be there?
You're asking the spy master, or you're asking?
Yeah,
your
this
contact?
no, asking the contacts.
Oh, your contact is just like, from what I can tell, that place is just used to house, well, all sorts of wealth, but specifically the spice.
They didn't give chase. That's weird.
I won't question it, he says.
Take your cut and go. Okay. I'll report this to I want to say Gwendolyn, but
Gwillian.
Gwillian, and have a short conversation with him.
All right. It's the dead of night, so like you go up the stairs. The inn is dead quiet at this hour. You go up the stairs, and the wood kind of creaks underneath your heavy boots. Rap secret, like a series of knocks on his door. He opened. I'm assuming he's awake at all hours. Just lets him in.
One of us is. I mean, yes, I always am.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I'd be annoyed if it wasn't actually him.
You wouldn't know.
Right.
There's only one person in this group who could possibly figure out, and even then it's a contested role.
Huh.
Yep,
So,
that person. So when you tell me, I'm like, so what you're saying is they raided the facility. Not only did they not get chased, it didn't peel away any of the guards that are guarding the princess.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. Seems like the spice is almost secondary to the princess themselves.
Yes.
That's a big deal. Kind of thinking
There's always a backup plan. They got to feed
What
her.
is it?
They got to feed her somehow.
so. Are we breaking this person out? Or are we
We're
just
picking-
getting the
We're just there for the
Grace.
package.
package?
We're there to deliver. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. The package.
Oh, that's right. We're just delivering. Huh. Do we know what that package is?
No.
Do we know if it's deadly?
No. But we should duplicate it in case some of us get captured trying to smuggle it in.
We should.
Even if we just duplicate the container.
You think there's any way they'd let us walk in the front door?
Like I said, you have to feed the princess somehow. Supplies have to go in and out eventually.
I get what you're saying. Let me go do some homework. So, and this would be the facility that's kind of up on the hill, Eric?
Yeah. So like it's Seoul, and then it opens up into a valley. Inside the
Right.
valley, there's a large
That's
series
right.
of
It's inside
hills.
a valley. That's right.
And
Okay.
the cottage and the area, the protected lands, as they say it, is at the top of the hills. Beyond that
Mhm.
are the Sand Peak Mountains, and on the Sand Peak Mountains is
Okay. I guess.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Our
Wait, did
GM's
Eric drop?
he's
Oh,
gonna have
no.
he's gonna have to swap internets again. Give him a moment.
No, Eric, come back.
This gives us a great time to introduce our sponsor, Wales Whiskey.
He's back.
sorry,
We drink Wales whiskey to survive our internets.
we do.
It's the only way.
Wales whiskey
Wales
is
whiskey.
the best tasting scotch you've never had.
Flashing good time.
And never will.
So, is there any way that we could watch for a few days just the movements of this thing? what goes in and out, if anything at all, like how self-sustaining they are? Do they depend on shipments? I guess I would have to either watch or at least ask around for that type of information.
You could watch the outpost from a distance. You can't. That's entirely possible if you want to run reconnaissance. There doesn't seem to be a lot of traffic moving through the valley, though. For the short time that you've been here, you haven't seen any thopters flying around. As a matter of fact, your contact is probably the only person who has been out here in quite a while, like running around on suspensor, engines to land a vehicle craft of some sort.
Okay.
So,
In the time he does that, however many days or weeks that is, I'm going to be James Bond and play the most dangerous game. I'm also going to very carefully observe someone, specifically a group of someones. One of the squads of Sardaukar who guards the valley. Specifically, so that I could possibly copy them.
nice. Cool. That works. So that's an interesting plan.
Yeah, we're gonna die, but me and my newfound face dancer friend are gonna try. So we are spending like multiple hours learning every tick of their behavior.
Sure.
At least two of the regulars.
You invite Pardo to help?
Sure.
I was about to ask.
Sure.
You bring him out in the dark evening. Do you tell them anything that happened about everything that you learned from your contact, Davos?
He told me.
Yeah, I would definitely fill in the spy master and let him disseminate that information as needed.
Okay, so then it's up to William to inform the Mentat, like what they want.
Yes.
What they want them to know.
Enough so that I don't think there's anything we need to hold back from what I was told. None of that seems close to the vest.
Yeah.
Other than identities of sources, that's all. Information only,
It's late in
nothing
the
about how
evening.
we got it.
Okay. It's late in the evening, but your mind is always working, Pardo. Give me a understand, paired with whatever drive, maybe perhaps truth makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Understand. Truth. Yep. Okay.
And real quick before you roll, Rachel, do you have like how much current momentum the group has currently?
Assuming that it doesn't refresh at the beginning of a new game session.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna keep it continuous. I want to say that they had at least some. I don't remember how much they had exactly.
She said 3. It just didn't pick up real good.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, 2 actually.
2.
Sorry. Yeah.
2. That's the magic number, though. Okay, so if you wanted to spend any extra momentum, you could buy an extra die key. If you wanted to make it 3 d20s instead of 2 when you roll, or you can
Correct.
save those 2 and spend them after. If you manage to succeed, you can spend them afterwards to get additional information.
Alternatively, I could use threat. Yes.
Yes,
Like,
of course.
Yeah. On my understand roll. Lovely. Getting some nice secrets. That is 2 successes, 3 if my focus of deductive reasoning applies
It does.
here. Yeah.
That's 3 successes.
3 successes.
So that's okay. Second.
Because I am a twisted
You got 2
mentat.
more.
Ooh.
You got 2 more than you needed. So you actually get some momentum into the pool now. So you have 5 momentum currently, and then one of them is gonna drop after we shift to the next scene in the morning. But yeah, you run the projections based on everything that you know so far. Something's off here. You kind of have the feeling that the Sardaukar knew something was coming, because for letting the smugglers to just run off and not give chase means either they're protecting something other than the spice at the stockpiles, which seems unlikely, especially given everything that happened prior to that. The fact that you went to House Angeru and you asked to know where your target was, and they freely gave you that information for nothing in exchange, the wheels start turning in your head, and you start thinking, they probably know we're here. Because if the people that you made contact with back in the city had any inclination to notify Sardaukar forces, then all they had to do was give you a show of force to make it seem like they were unprepared, when they actually know that where exactly you're going to be going. So you could potentially, there is a possibility, however slim, that you're walking into a trap when you go to the top of that hill.
Yeah, and I'd let Gwillian know about that. This seems to be lining up too perfectly. Yet.
And there's still the other factor. There's still another factor, though, that you can't fit in with everything else, and that's the Botani assassin that's tracking your quarry. How would you like to proceed?
Frankly, I'm not sure.
You think better of it to try to extrapolate too much this late in the evening. You're all exhausted. You think better to wait in the morning and then perhaps as a group go over some of the intelligence, disseminate it, and make a better plan based on that. Breakfast begins early at dawn. You all stumble out of bed at different times to grab something to eat. The smells wafting from downstairs are quite endearing. They make you feel like you're home when you're actually somewhere you've never been before. The smells of the cooking and the spirits that are brewing downstairs have a welcoming scent to them. You see, you pick up on the cinnamony sweet smell of melange as they're using it to put a little bit of kick in their beer and some of the cooking out here. Some of the pastries that they create, that they make for alongside their typical bar food. You keep looking at that painting, Davos, as you're going downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And despite the fact that you all see a group, and it's funny that you mentioned this earlier, Tyler, the small 4-man group of Sardaukar sitting at a table together, getting breakfast. Despite that, you notice the painting that's hanging on the wall on the far side of the inn. Something about that painting, you've seen it before, you feel.
Me?
No, sorry. This is
okay.
Davos specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Davos was the painting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for Gwillian, and especially for Lysander, as you and Pardo, as you start making your way down the stairwell, you immediately notice these 4 Sardaukar soldiers sitting on the far side of the inn floor. They just seem to be having breakfast. The patrons that are typically here in the morning give them a wide berth, and they kind of sit back. They avoid their gaze. The patrons, as they see you coming down the stairway, they nod and, morning. They're preparing spiced coffee for anyone who's interested.
Like I said, James Bond. I get a spiced coffee and a bowl of something delicious and sit down at the table right next to them.
Oh,
Look right at him and I'm like, morning. And then carry on.
They just look at you. They don't respond. And these are some pretty mean-looking customers for the most part. Although some of them seem to have been at this post for a little bit too long. They don't look as cut and wiry as some of the people of your own entourage. You all sit together or apart, aside from Gwillian, of course.
Okay. Gonna cheat.
Hmm.
So I've walked into this room several times, but now that I know that there's something sort of piquing Davos's interest about this painting, passive scrutiny. You're quick to notice details which might be of importance later. When you enter a scene, you may ask one question of the game master as if you'd spent a momentum to obtain information.
Yeah.
So, what is it I see different this time after I've looked at it for like 4 days?
Well, you weren't there for 4 days. You had just gotten
Or
there,
however
the
long,
day prior. Yeah.
Okay.
It took several days to get there, but yeah. So now that you're looking at it again with fresh eyes, you're like, I've seen that before. And you're like, the same person that you had talked to earlier, you're like, where did you say that was from again? Like, what is this painting? And it's like, oh, it was a commemoration gift. The nobleman who got married to Kyra up there on the hillside, they donated it to the inn since she used to work here and all. Just a little thank you. I don't know what it is. It's kind of nice, I guess. It looks nice on the wall. You look closely at it, and you're like, that's an old print from old Terra. And do you mention that to them at all, or to
It's a
anybody?
10,000-year-old painting.
Wait, the painting is 10,000 years old?
Well, maybe not that old, but certainly the original wouldn't be around anymore.
So
that
where
being
did
old,
the original Van go?
Oh God.
Oh.
God, I would
I
just
have
want to end this
I have a
stream
gift
right
for
now.
you, Ever. Just stay tuned here for a second.
Okay, so the painting seems, wow. Okay, so then it's not necessarily commemorating, or it's not showing the actual union between the person we're after and whoever they married. It's just an old print then, right?
Mhm.
That seems to be sort of related to the situation.
Yeah, this is obviously a recreation of a very old painting. When you bring it up to the staff at the bar, they're like, yeah, they mentioned something about a Van Gogh or I don't know what, something like that. Never heard of it before.
Eric's wrecking us in the Discord.
Daphne, you notice that everybody's a little bit hesitant being around those 4 soldiers in the corner. You're no stranger to Imperial politics. You see the signal, the insignia of House Carino emblazoned on their outfits and the way that they carry themselves. It seemed very professional killers of the Emperor himself. And Sanders, obviously, I'm assuming very closely seated next to you at the table, I would imagine, if not elsewhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not trying to duck Lysander at this moment.
At this moment.
They don't pay any of you any mind for the most part. They're kind of like doing their regular thing, it seems. Would any of you like to do or say anything over breakfast? Or is it just a quiet sort of moment and then you move on?
I
Yeah,
would like
Daphne.
to pass a note to Daphne that is just a map of the best hiding spots in the building for later use.
Nice.
Noted.
There's a little chute or something like in the back. You can jump in there. Okay. Cool.
I'm
I like
going to
it.
strike up conversation with the Sardaukar breakfast eaters.
Oh.
Oh my. Roll communications, please.
Gonna spend a determination.
Whoa. Okay.
and I'm gonna. How much momentum's in the pool?
You need at least 2 successes, my friend, because I rolled a nat 1 because it's me.
How much determination's in the pool, Daphne?
Did Pardo
You mean momentum?
use one?
Momentum, yeah.
Pardo, did you use one or not?
I did not use one. I contributed to the threat earlier.
Okay, so we are still at 2.
I'll spend 1 then.
Right.
I'm going to use truth. It's not called truth, is it? Character sheet's here
There's
somewhere.
truth.
Is it truth?
Truth
Yes,
is
truth is
one
my
of them, yeah.
statement.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Use faith in my destiny and my visions. I'm not going to die here today, because then whatever the gods have been telling me isn't
Good
correct.
choice.
What could go wrong? Nothing, because that's an 8, a 1, and a 4. And my communicate's only 4, but I got a 1 and a 4, so that's 5 successes.
What?
With an
Wow. Okay,
with an espionage focus.
Wow. Yeah, you okay, you hide any intention of what you're attempting to do, even with on a nat 1. Yeah, it's all yours there. You make idle chit chat with them, and they don't think much of it.
Actually,
you managed to get something out of them at least with that.
it's
roll.
not. The goal wasn't idle chit chat.
Hmm.
I want to make friends.
How exactly do you play that out? Do you play up to their like machismo or something? Or
When I sat down at the table, face dance into somebody I copied once that's a war veteran, complete with scars and limp, and appealed to their military tradition and loyalty to the Emperor.
Nice. Okay. You see, you strike one up, and you're like, and they kind of look at you, and they're like, all right, what's your name, old timer? You seem like you've seen some action.
I give them a name.
Like, yeah, well, this. Do you tell them anything else? Like, you can, be very artistic here and create like.
So
whatever
instead of
kind
doing it in
backstory
character,
you
I'll
want.
tell you what the topic would be. I would relate war stories, something, an actual event in defending the interests of the Emperor. Whole squad died. I didn't. I have,
You were there.
I have warrior's regret because I survived.
You were on Grumman? Huh. Interesting.
It was a hell of a fight. Many of your kind were there.
What are you doing out here?
Very respected. Play up to their ego. One of them, not them specifically, but Sardaukar saved my ass.
You look kind of smug about it, like.
Because of my loyalty, I was rewarded with a minor position, and this is an important stronghold, so this is where I get to live out what remains of my days. Might not be the warrior I once was, but I am still a warrior and still fiercely loyal to the Emperor.
What's your name, warrior? One of them asks.
I give them the name of the person that I'm actually copying.
Okay. All right. And name. Alas. Good name, strong name. They did well to reward you for your honor. And you see, like they raise their flagons and they toast you.
I act very humble and honored.
It goes off without a hitch. They seem to buy your deception wholeheartedly.
That is essentially it. My goal is, because Davos said he was going to take a few days to do his thing.
Sure.
I will, that's it for this conversation, but I will conveniently run into them now again until we have a chance to get drunk together.
Okay.
Build the relationship.
Yeah, you see, they let on that they stop by the inn every other day to grab drinks or breakfast or what have you, and then they go back to the outpost and all that. So yeah, they're like, all right, see you around, Balaz. Nice to meet you. They finish. They drop their Solaris on the table. They get up, starts sauntering outside. What are the rest of you doing?
Daphne is holding court at the breakfast table. She's staked out a table like, this is my table.
Yeah.
You should be grateful that I am letting you eat breakfast with me.
Damn.
Perfect.
Very queen bee-ish.
Yeah.
I mean,
You,
obviously,
I'm
I'm not going to treat the house members that way, because you know
Mm.
you can eat breakfast with me, but that's the attitude she wants to project to everybody else.
Sure. And it's very. They don't seem terribly surprised or anything like that, given the way that you dress and everything like that. My lady, you know, they use the proper honorifics, assuming that you're royal. Unless you purposely disguise yourself, otherwise they'll regard you. You know, oh, my lady, yes, okay, of course, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't believe we had any plans to do this incognito, so unless someone wants to say that they advised Daphne to keep her profile low, yeah, that's what she's gonna do.
I think it's a good idea because if they know we're here, they're watching you and you're the faint, and they're not watching the things Davos and Pardo and I are doing in the shadows.
I was gonna say I would be, sitting there with you, full garb. We're basically
Full Bene Gesserit garb.
Full Bene Gesserit garb. We are the eyesore.
I would like to mention one other thing too, Eric, as part of the scene I did before I forget, because I will. Using the fantastic awesomeness that allowed me to get that half a kilo of spice last session, we got into the systems to make that happen. Using that access to the systems, I make my cover story real. This guy really does work there. And then the other face dancer and I take turns showing our faces around where they should be if they had a job. Make the cover real.
Okay, you keep it up, sure.
And actually hack us into the system as if we're supposed to be here in case the starter car will look up the name.
Sure, that makes sense. All right. So with breakfast being adjourned, unless there's any other business to be had, where do you proceed? Individually or as a group?
Well, I think we should probably have a house conference and figure out what we do next.
Agreed.
One of the Gwillians will attend.
Conference. Of them. I'm assuming you choose your own room upstairs to hold this little meeting?
Yeah, after having it swept for bugs.
Sure. No bugs, that you can tell. The people tiptoe around you, Norma, when they realize that you're in the full getup. They're like, "Here's your tea." Like the your tea is like rattling in the saucer, and they put it in front of you, and they bow and they walk away. They refer to you reverently, and then they kind of disappear. The Bene Gesserit have a reputation. With that being adjourned, you go upstairs and you open up the room, shut it, sweep for bugs, and you proceed as you would. What's your plan?
Well, what have we learned?
The painting downstairs, it's a prince of something much older. So suspect that our query possibly might have a bit of money on them or has some significance or connection to art, possibly.
We've learned that they know we're here and why. We've learned that in order to succeed, I have a plan. It is underway, but you must be patient. Princess, this will take days, perhaps weeks. During that time, you need to be obvious that you're here. You need to be the faint. And if we're going to survive this, we need to know what's in the box. What's in the box?
Pain, right?
The amount of work it's taking to deliver it? Yes.
Yes.
Lots of pain, lots of death.
Different kind of box. Different kind of pain.
Would Pardo be able to predict what's inside the box in any way? Make sure we're not opening a bomb.
That's a possibility, given who gave it to you. That's going to be a hard roll, though, I would imagine.
Daphne is about to tell you.
Oh, you already
she's
know?
about to-
Okay.
Yeah, she's already opened it
yeah.
before.
He's already opened the box? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that
I-
box, right? Okay.
I think last week is when she said that.
Yeah, my bad.
Mhm.
My
No
bad.
Do tell, princess.
Well,
the box.
trusting to all of your discretion, it is jewels of some kind. 2 large blue sapphires.
Mm.
You show them.
If they ask.
You reveal to them in private like what this looks like, and yeah, they have like almost like an inner light. Even inside the box in perfect darkness, it has this like wrapped in velvet. When you reveal them, though, there's nothing extraordinary other than they're very pretty, which makes you think that there's actually more of a emotional connection to it rather than like a fine. It's not a money thing. It's a sentimental thing.
Any idea why you might be taking these to their destination?
I suspect they have a symbolic value of some kind. When I was given them, my mother... She said something about this has gone on long enough. She didn't say anything after that.
God damn it, Devin.
Never mind. Yeah, just ignore that. That's
Daphne.
Discord.
Please subtract 1 momentum from the pool. Don't ask. You don't want to know.
We are now at 0 momentum.
Okay.
Stop using all our momentum on weird side adventures, Tyler.
Just always going on little side
that are
adventures.
the main adventures.
Better
Get
he wastes
us.
momentum than
Our side adventure made us ridiculously rich, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you tasted them, tested them? Have you done anything with these since you got them?
Tasted them. What?
Do you hold them out for them to look at, or do you just kind of like, here it is, and then close the door?
Yeah, like I'll start by opening the lid, but if they want to see one, I'll like put some gloves on before I touch them.
Sure.
Pardo,
Yes.
can these be replicated?
Mm.
Enough to fool scrutiny, but not deep scrutiny, perhaps. For
For the
instance, if
first time in like 12 years, Pardo smirks and he says, "Yes, given enough time, anything, yes."
yes, but can you
How long do we
replicate them?
have?
What I'm doing will take at least a week, I would guess.
Anybody who would like to examine the sapphires can roll an understand.
Did you say understand?
I would say understand.
Key's happy.
God damn it.
Yeah, would
And,
truth be good
truth?
for this?
Whatever seems fitting. You want to, if you have, if your thing is to knowledge, you can use understand and duty. If this feels like if this is like part of your mission, like you need to know what's in the box in order to deliver it to said party. Or if you feel like there's a mystery hanging over it and you want to figure it out, like why this is so important, then yeah, it would probably be truth.
Thank you for the subscription, Fire Park creature.
Ooh.
Thank you. Yeah, Daphne values truth. Truth is the best way to gain power, so I think truth and understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me see if my computer is getting along with Astral.
You should roll 2, Pardo. This is you. This is your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Anybody assisting Daphne can roll 1d20, and if you manage to roll underneath your target number, the combination of your drive and your skill, then you can grant an additional success to whatever she rolls.
So
Sure.
Davos would be interested just to see if he recognizes anything unique about them from his smuggling? Just has he ever smuggled anything like this?
You should roll. Yeah, you can absolutely roll as well.
So
as an appraiser of precious things, I would imagine Davos would be one of the people that can make something of this.
Am I rolling for myself or am I rolling to assist?
I would imagine you're rolling to assist if Daphne's taking the lead on it.
Then Daphne can have 2 extra successes.
Nice.
At some point,
make that one more.
At some point, people are gonna think I'm cheating, but I rolled a 1, so that's 2 more from me.
I always think you're cheating.
I need to put a camera on the dice so people could see that that's just what happens to me.
See, here's what I've learned about Tyler over the years.
Devin knows.
Tyler has played with dice for so long that he touches them and it's like petting the dice, and then they just roll the way that he wants them to. They gross. Obey. It is absolutely gross.
So, about that Vegas trip.
Yeah, you're at like 8 successes or something. I don't know if it works with those kind of dice because I do this all game long. I'm just muted when I do it.
Oh.
So that is an exceptionally good roll all around. You know pretty much whatever it is that you need to know about these jewels. They're called spirit fires. They're Davos. You've heard of these because each one of them is supposed to be unique. The way that they develop on a planet called Dasfen, Dasfen.
Did you tell us about this, or did I accidentally read it somewhere? I feel like they know this.
No, I made this up. This whole thing.
Okay.
So.
All right.
On Dasfen, they're found typically beneath the waves. The locals on Dasfen believe that the soul is just another form of energy, and that just like gems can absorb and give off energy, these are able to trap the energy of life inside of them, and that's what they say gives them that glow. They're incredibly expensive, and no two, like I said, are alike. The belief on Dasfen is that if 2 people ever find a pair of these that are an exact match, then those 2 people are to be soulmates.
Oh. And that's a matched pair there.
They are
juicy.
Exactly alike.
Juicy. I do think, Pardo, though, that you should duplicate them because some or all of us may be caught trying to deliver them.
Definitely.
And I think you should randomly decide, as the Mentat, who gets the real ones, and not tell us.
Should I make a pair for everyone? Is that the plan here?
I think so.
Given the amount of time, yeah.
And only you know which ones are real.
All right.
It's up to you to decide who wants to hold on to them, or if you're going to keep them in the box, and how exactly you would. I mean, this would take some time, I would imagine, and some ingenuity to replicate something like that, or to replicate a fake rather, of glass or something else. It's possible, even out here in this area, this type of planet, you can, even with the limited resources, you can probably manufacture a fake of some kind. Davos might be able to help.
So Pardo will think for a moment, sort of gaze off into the corner with a 1,000-yard stare, and blink back, turn to Davos with a laundry list of materials that he needs.
This is special kind of dye, specifically made for.
I need blue number 338. I require exactly
Excellent.
1 pound worth of sodium chloride.
Kind of looks out the window at the desolate shithole place that we're in. Goes, I'll have it to you by tomorrow.
Don't forget the lapis lazuli.
Fuck you.
Excellent.
So you have a plan potentially to fabricate some fakes of these jewels. What do you do? What else is it that you do? I'm assuming that Pardo and Davos are going to be working on creating the fakes, and that Gwillian is going to do the reconnaissance at the outpost. Is that correct?
one of the Gwillians is reconnoitering while the other Gwillian is doing his job, slowly making friends with the Sardaukar until we can get drunk together and I can suddenly be one of them.
Okay. How long do you want to give this? Like a week?
That's what I keep saying. I figure that's enough time to make them comfortable enough with me to get drunk and share war stories and have to go take a piss at some point.
Yeah.
And on that night, both of Gwillians are there, as well as I have Lysander waiting because even a drunk Sardaukar might be a problem to overtake.
Yeah.
You might have to bribe Lysander away from Lady Daphne.
You could always ask.
Okay. Well, we won't tell Lady Daphne what night that is. And we'll get with Davos and we'll be like, make sure the door only opens from the outside till we're done.
She's gonna be so mad.
Only if she tries to leave.
All right, so...
And you're sure you locked the door?
That's Davos's job.
You invite the Sardaukar to go out drinking, like off duty, and because you rolled so well to ingratiate yourself into their group, he agrees to it. It's like, yeah, sure, that sounds fine. And he's like, me and the troop usually come out here, and we go take a nightcap, go back home, go back to the barracks. So yeah, sure. He sets a time and a date, and later on in the week, he's like, yeah, I'll come out and drink with you, sure. And okay, how would you set this up? I see this happening at night, like you guys are outside of the inn somewhere, like walking around the hilltops or something like that. I'm assuming you're going to try to like separate him from the other three that he's typically with.
I would presume as the face dancer I can hold my liquor, so we would actually start in the evening, have a good meal, start getting drunk inside the tavern, if there's another tavern, end up there, and then ultimately end up outside, just like, don't even make it look like it's my idea, it's just we get too rowdy, and they don't ask the Sardaukar to leave, but we get the hint, so we go to finish drinking outside, that kind of party, and then we just happen to be outside when we're isolated.
Who's joining in with you? Just you and the other asset, or is anybody
Lysander.
else from the entourage joining you? Lysander.
Even if it requires a bribe.
You've been drafted, Lysander.
Even if it requires a bribe, here's some spice. I have a lot.
No,
Lysander,
I don't
I'm going
need
to
that.
require...
No. You can use it as money. You don't gotta eat it.
Oh. Well, fine.
Lysander, I'm going to require you to make a move roll. And I think the same would go to you, your asset, William. Make a move stealth if you have the specialty.
I do, and I actually have the feat that lets me move assets subtly to get bonuses on this. This is what I do.
Fantastic. I'm going to use some threat to increase the difficulty. One moment.
I was gonna say, this is Sardaukar. You want to
they're not. They're not. Or... Yeah, they're elite troopers. So, give me a moment.
No, I'm asking William.
What? What about it?
You want a third party involved, or third person involved as well, just in case?
No, because you're the Feint. You and Daphne have to be showing your faces around so that they're watching you and not us.
2 successes.
Otherwise, I would say yes.
2 successes. You have the stats for face dancer, Tyler?
Yep, I am rolling for him, her, them now.
Mm-hmm.
Face dancer got 3.
Shit.
Me, they're pretty good at that too by the default. Me, I also got 3. I have the Pranabindu bonus die, so I got lucky.
So, okay, 1 second.
Or not bonus die, reroll.
I spent threat, and he only got 1 success, and I didn't even take into account the fact that he's inebriated. So he only got 2, which means if you got 2 or more, you succeeded.
Excellent.
So yeah, you managed to get this guy completely off guard. He doesn't see it coming. How does that play out outside at night when you two are just like singing old war songs or something together, like swilling?
I picture this, and yes, If necessary, because Lysander doesn't operate this way, I will in fact bribe you with my quality 4 spice asset. Not the whole thing, but enough to make you say, "Fine, it's for the good of the house." I picture this. I picture this like that scene in, I forget which Hannibal movie it was, where we got our arms around each other and we're walking by singing. Lysander just walks by and cuts that little vein up on your leg near your groin. And I just keep walking him, and I'm like, "Man, you're super drunk," off into an alley where I sit him down and let him bleed out. Just like that.
I am
Nice.
for this plan, though I think Lysander probably would have rather dueled it out, but, you know.
Sometimes you gotta do it dirty, yep. Plus,
Yeah,
I now owe you
you
one.
run and just drag your blade across their leg, and he, at the same time, Brilliant like grabs a hold of him, like holds him back, drags him into a space in between the two buildings, and the face dancers there waiting with blades at either side.
Yep.
Slits his throat, kills him, finishes him off.
And then this is the part
This
where
guy always-
this is the part where I would get Norma involved.
Yeah.
The face dancer takes on my face, meaning the war veteran, and I become the Sardaukar, and when we walk out of the alley, it's just 2 drunk dudes again. And Norma knows to show up, take care of the body, because nobody will question Norma if Norma says, "Get rid of this package."
Do you stick around after you deal the the leading up to the killing blow, Lysander, or do you just like slice and leave?
Lysander would probably stick through with the whole thing just because it would be in his mind dishonorable to leave.
The other
right away.
the other person that is waiting in the alley that assumes the old veteran's face, almost sneers at you. It's like, "Go, we're done here," and mumbles something under their breath, saying something like "Pawinda."
Don't
Like waves you away.
Don't mind him.
I'll mind him with my sword.
He immediately, as soon as he takes the visage of the old veteran, like walks out and gets into character, straightens out, goes back into the inn by himself, or gets ready to walk back.
No.
Whenever you're ready.
Right. We wait until Norma shows up. And then the 2 of us walk out as if nothing had happened. It's still just the 2 drunk people, except now I'm the Sardaukar in uniform.
Oh shit. Okay.
And we continue our drunken reveille, and then I go pass out back in the barracks that I've been watching for a week to learn the patterns.
Okay.
And now we're literally on the inside.
You're on the inside, yes. So as the rest of that evening unfolds, you join back up with the rest of the Sardaukar as they mount up into the Thopter and they start heading back out to the outposts. And you get a much better view of this place as it's landing. It's like built right onto the side of the mountain itself, so it's there's this big landing slab that juts out, and that's where the fluttering wings of the Ornithopter bring you, and it just kind of touches down like an insect. The doors open up, you guys fall out, and you see that there's a whole contingent. There has to be easily over at least 200 Sardaukar soldiers posted here at this outpost.
All right then.
Yeah. They weren't fucking around when they set these guys up over here. So you go do your thing while you're on the inside.
Now, my entire goal here, just so you know, and you can tell me when it's done or if I get killed. The goal here is to be this character, but be unobtrusively this character. And I just want to see how they resupply the place and what the weak spot is that we can use to infiltrate. That's my entire goal, nothing else.
Okay, make an infiltration check, just one. I'm gonna spend thread on this, so you can bring your A game. So let's see.
Tyler, 5 successes.
This is when I'm going to roll 2 20s. Nope, not this time. How much momentum's left from that seriously crazy overpower roll we did to get the information from Lady Daphne 2 scenes ago?
How much momentum did that give us?
I just know that he said it was a crazy success.
I'm gonna say it gives you at least 2 momentum.
Okay.
What you have.
Okay, then we've got 2.
4 successes with the reroll.
4?
With the reroll power I have, yeah.
That's more than that's just enough actually, because I spent a little bit of threat there on that one, and because it's me, I rolled a 20, so there's a complication on their behalf.
Poor
So
Eric.
fantastic.
Of course. Okay.
I actually did too, but I have the power of the reroll. Prana Bindu, you save
shit.
all lives,
Yeah.
Prana Bindu. Bene
Yeah.
Gesserit conditioning.
You have a couple of tight spots, as it were, when you're trying to fit in. Like you have trouble finding like your exact place in the barracks, and they kind of look at you funny.
Right.
And then they're like, "Oh, they fucked it up again." Like they go back over the roster list, and it's like, "Oh yeah, no, they put you in a new bunk. It's over here." Like they rearranged the whole thing. It was a glitch, and somebody messed up. You're over here now, and they posted you somewhere else that you're not normally supposed to be. So you actually got really lucky that they messed up with their complications, and you're in like Flynn, as they say.
I mean, that's my fate, obviously.
So you gather quite a bit of information. You know that they operate at least half a dozen or so thopters out here, military style, which can accommodate more than 4 people at a time, up to like 6. They have las guns mounted on it, meaning like they can shoot you from the air and cut you in half.
So keep shields running if we get caught. Got it.
Lysander out front.
What's the weak
that they
spot though?
wear.
There's always a weak spot. Not in the
There's always a weak
defenses,
spot.
not in the defenses, but in our ability to get into the villa and out.
In and out, yes. You could use the valley. The valley is open to them. Like they actually have people watching, but there's a surrounding forest around the river that runs through that area. Very densely populated trees. They specifically concentrated on this area to terraform more than any other. So the thicknesses of the tree here, it's pretty dense. The whole forest is on both sides of the river. You could use that to make a better approach to the hillside.
Then I will use, unless the party disagrees, our last momentum before it expires to ask the GM a question. And you don't have to answer it, but just like we have this knowledge as a party.
Yeah.
When and where is the exact best time to move through the forest to avoid forest patrols so we can get in and out?
There are no forest patrols.
Okay.
There are thopter patrols. There are thopter patrols over the area that are conducted regularly, in intervals. But I'll give you this one. The forest is one approach. The other is the river itself. One is more treacherous than the other, though.
Okay. I will return at the end of the week once you get done finding out what they did for a week.
So yeah, this is all happening throughout the course of the week. You managed to get in and you managed to get back out. The rest of you, William's gone for that time. So you don't know, that he's undertaking a mission on behalf of the entourage, but what are the rest of you doing? And let's start with Daphne.
So how many other nobles are in the area here?
Nil. You're the only person there of any kind of nobility, which is why they, if you dress the part, they treat you as nobility, and they're very humble about it, because they don't often get people like that out here.
Okay. So Daphne is going to spend her time meeting with the local leaders and asking like a whole bunch of strange questions. And so the whole idea is like, if people get together and compare notes, like, what is she doing? Well, she was pricing
starting the gossip, stirring the pot.
Well, she was pricing this out, and then she made like some really vague statements about rugs that one time, and like, so people know that she's up to something, but if she does it right, no one can figure out exactly what. And she's dropping so many red herrings to keep them distracted.
Sure. Okay. You're purposely like keeping them guessing as to what you're there for. So if anybody asks them, like, they can just, they're drawing at straws. Okay. That's a pretty good idea, actually. You can roll communicate, and if you have like trait like deceit, or actually you can use your house trait if you want to. I believe you can spend momentum to use the house trait.
Yes.
In addition to any of that you have, to get an extra die, I believe, to roll for your check.
I believe that is correct. Same way. So the reason that's important, Daphne, is to buy the second die with your personal momentum costs 3 points. This allows you to spend 1 point for the house and 1 point for yourself and get 2 dice for 2 points of momentum. That's why it matters. It's a whole point cheaper to get 4 dice on the roll.
Okay. I have not been tracking personal momentum at all.
That group. When I say group, I mean our group pool.
Oh. Well,
which technically we're over by 2 because I beat my infiltrate roll by 2 more than I needed.
Okay, so 2 momentum, and then I can spend those 2 momentum to get 4 dice.
Yes.
Neat.
And then if Eric says you needed 2 and you roll 4, same thing, we put it back in the pool.
Okay, let me hunt up another D20 because I only pulled 3 out of my bag.
Yeah, traits typically can make things easier or more difficult depending on what you're doing. So I'm going to say that if you use the house trait, it'll actually reduce the difficulty of what you're trying to do, which is pretty simple in and of itself. Like, you're confusing the commoners, but they're obviously curious about you, so they're a little bit more alert than usual.
I'm going to use my justice trait, which is I must shield those in my care.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Well, ooh, I've got a 1.
Woo!
2 successes right off the bat. Nice.
Yes, and then 12 and a 7, so 2 more successes. And then a 15. So yeah, nice.
Wow. Okay, so that's a total of 4?
Yes, because 1's count for 2.
Give yourself 2 momentum then. That's excellent. So yeah, you create the trait in that area about your entourage. Like, there's a great bit of confusion regarding you and who these people are that are with you and what exactly you're here to do. You've been here for like the better part of a week, and they're just like, we can't figure her out. Like, what are these people are coming and going at all times of the day? Like, but they're also talking about rugs. I don't get it. They're just like, they're completely disoriented as to what's going on. So much so that they kind of leave you alone. They're just like, whatever. They pay their way. Okay, Davos. You do anything for the week that Gwillian is gone?
So the next day, he'll have delivered everything in crates that blocks Pardo's door, and then on top is a kitchen sink.
Here it is. Here's everything you asked for. Fantastic.
And then after that, even though Gwillian's kind of on the inside, he knows that he's gonna kind of feel out the outside, like ask the nearby caravans, try to get in good with some of the local tradesmen, just try to find out, who goes. Do they get deliveries from the local village? Like, why is this place here? What sort of services are provided to the main encampment? Like, what? It's just weird that there's the base and then there's a town, and then there's got to be some connection in like supply runs or something like that, or services provided in some way.
They
just
tell
trying to
you
find out
the
connections.
Sure. You see that the Sardaukar outposts are outfitted the same way a lot of these other outposts on the planet are outfitted. They basically send people to the main cities. In this particular case, the one that you just came from on Ashia, that's where Shari City. Sorry, that's what it's called. The city is called Shari. They send their representatives there to pick up equipment, goods, replacement stuff, tools, etc., and then they fly it back in a large Thopter transport back to the outpost. They do that like maybe once or twice a month.
Okay.
Nobody goes out there. They come to the city instead, and it's usually like a transport and several other Thopters with armed guards on board and so on.
Okay. So it just goes straight from the outpost to the city. Nobody comes to this little
Nobody comes
Township?
Near. No.
Huh.
Not generally. Not on air. No, not usually. No. That's why your smugglers showing up when they did it like, as low key as possible, and then they got the hell out of there.
Okay. Then yeah, he's gonna try to figure out like, then why are people here? Like, if they can't get in now, the outpost, and the outpost is the only thing getting deliveries. Like, what's keeping people here? What's the significance, sort of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. The Norma, what are you doing the rest of for that week?
So while Daphne is running diversionary tactics as she is, I am going to basically take some of the younger girls in the area and do like a faux, I'm doing a basic Bene Gesserit training for you all so that I can see how many of you might be worthy of being sent back to Wallach 9. And as this is going on while I'm, training them, I am doing basic little, basic stuff for them, but at the same time, I'm kind of turning some of them into informants for me about, how
Trading
many
assets,
how many Sadakar or come to the area, like how often their shifts are, how many of them come, where their local spots are.
Really cool.
And I just try and create my own little information network and maybe turn some of them so that they can, hey, when the time comes, if they happen to get a bad thing of grog and they all get sick, well then, hey,
Yeah.
you have a spot on this ship that'll take you far, far away from all the issues that'll have come up.
Yeah.
So maybe put some of them out just at the same time as we're planning on doing this, so when they're returning from their trip, stomach ache for 2 or 3 squads. Give us a little extra oomph when we're actually there.
I'm gonna say that you go ahead and roll a communicate test.
All right.
This is you basically creating little assets, little birds to feed you information. If you can score 2 successes, that should be more than sufficient to at least create one asset in the area that you can tap for information.
That is 3 successes.
3. You get one
6 and a 7.
additional momentum. Then good job. Yeah, you managed to get a group of them interested in what you're saying. One of them in particular, though, seems to be apt in how you conduct yourself clandestinely, and they seem to be almost a natural fit for something like the sisterhood. So you let's call her a Belle. So Belle becomes a temporary asset for you that you could use in that town to get information or to feed false information, whatever it is that you want to do. Did you want to spend any momentum after your success to gain additional information from your asset?
How many momentum do we have now? Does that make it 2 or does that make it higher?
Right now we have 2.
So you can spend 1 to gain additional information, I believe.
Yeah, let's burn 1. I mean, if everyone's okay with the continuous use of momentum.
Yep.
That's what it's there for.
What is it specifically that you want to know? That's the real question, because now you actually have, when you ask for information like that and use momentum, I have to answer truthfully. Typically, I have to give you that information. I can be a little vague about it, but I have to give you the what you're asking.
How many guards shift out at a time?
In the valley, like when they do the flyovers.
Yeah, like when
there's
they do
8 at any one time, and meaning there's about 2 thopters, 4 apiece.
And they only shift out 8 at a time. There's hundreds of them. Dang, they aren't getting breaks. Good.
Well,
good.
They're covering a wide area. If you're asking specifically about the valley where like the hill is that you have to make contact with, then yeah, there's 2 thopters that regularly monitor that circuit, so to speak. There's a whole rest of this area where they have other patrols, but this is the one that this person knows the most about because it's right there. So just by asking that question, what kind of opposition you might be going up against. If you decide to go that way, or if you run into trouble, you know more or less what you're up against. Up to 8 Sardaukar guards and 2 Thopters armed with the information that William's going to provide, armed with lasgun emplacements that can, they can disintegrate you. That's probably as good a time as any to break temporarily. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, or the rest of the plan will be enacted, and everyone will die horribly. I mean,
that's
everything will go
correct.
fine.
Be back in
Well.
10 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, and we're ready to proceed with the rest of the weekly planning that is going to lead up to nothing but good things, I'm sure. Davos got 4 successes in their attempt to get some information from their local contacts about what exactly is it about this little village called Seoul.
Yeah,
So
what's
you get
its
some
purpose?
interesting-
Why does it exist? Like, what's its connections? Yeah.
So I believe I wrote it here that... Just make sure I back my stuff up here. Yes. So interesting. You even find out the meaning behind the word. Soul, spelled S-U-H-L, means peace in an old language. And like, huh. Okay, so it's supposed to be like this little peaceful village or whatever, but it's heavily guarded by Sardaukar. Why? You know, like, why is it in this place, and what is it meant to do? You come to find out that this village was actually constructed here something like 10 to 12 years ago. So this is actually not an old place.
Right. Around the time that the wedding happened or something, right?
Exactement.
Okay.
And actually, when the one person that you spoke with that talked about the wedding was the only person that actually gave you that information initially. Everybody else, when you asked them about it, like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, they kept it quiet. Like, there's some sort of like a secretive nature to this whole little wedding that took place some time ago between Kyra and this other nobleman.
Okay.
And you're starting to put things together as like, okay, so that painting that's in the inn is worth a lot, and these people may not even realize it, and that apparently this wedding that took place between Kyra and this other noble person, like, they don't know who the other person is. It's a little odd. It took place not too far away, supposedly, according to the barkeep. They told you that the ceremony took place on the hillside, so they weren't even invited to it. It was a private affair.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, for you, that means it was this whole thing has been kept secret, and this whole town, this whole village of Seoul, was constructed as almost to be like a on-the-ground lookout post for anybody coming in and out of this area. It has the dual purpose of, like, they actually do want to terraform different areas of the planet. So they established people here, and they gave them land to develop livestock, crops, etc. They helped to create the river that flows through here, like before the time that the town was settled. So they had a hand in creating this, and as a reward for that, they were given the land that they live on now. This is an imperial gifted lands, however, because of course House Carino owns the planet. This is a holdings planet for them, so they were able to dole that out as they wanted. It seems that they bought the secrecy of a lot of the people here as to what happened about 9 or 10 years ago.
Okay. Interesting.
So they married somebody important.
For a reason.
Like, but yes. The Byzantine plots are the bread and butter of Dune, so. Okay. Norma, I'm interested to what you are doing for this. Oh, no, sorry. You had developed the asset.
I was gonna say, we already went through me.
Yeah, Lysander. I'm going to leave the best for last because Key's forging stuff, which should be fascinating. So I'm going to go with Lysander here for a second. Anything in particular that you're doing the week that Gwillian is out doing his mission out in the field?
Oh, my usual of pester the Lady Daphne with protection. But also, as I'm out and about, I'm observing... Well, this village might really not know that they're kind of a lookout. I'd like to be observing the individual people to see if maybe they're undercover, if we're being followed, if we are being followed, who is following us, and also tactical locations in which if something ever broke out, I could stuff Lady Daphne for her to be safe.
Give me a discipline and duty roll. Combine those two to create your target number, and you have momentum if you want to spend it to roll additional dice to increase the chance of your success.
Give me 1 second. My internet is being a hassle.
Meat dice, meat dice.
Meat dice. This one always confuses me though. Okay. Oh, here we go. I had to refresh the page because apparently my computer decided to shut down while I was away. I'm not really sure. There we go. Okay, that was a understand plus duty. That's right. 2 successes.
Okay. Successes, 1 second. Attributed to you. Okay. These are commoners. They're not spies. They're not even moderately trained spies. So if someone were following you, you'd know. No one's really following you. They're taking note of you because you're obviously, tied to the Lady Daphne. Anywhere she goes, you go. So they kind of notice that. You do notice, however, that with some of these patrols coming into the inn in particular, you see oftentimes as they're leaving or as they're coming in, 1 or 2 of the Sardaukar will kind of split off and meet with some of the locals and just ask them questions. Usually the same ones. One of them is an older person who looks like they have like gnarly looking hands and stuff like that. They've obviously done a lot of work in the field. And some of them are like, one's a small child that just kind of runs around, does random chores in and out of the inn. They asked the same couple people for questions. They basically talk to them before they go in or as they're going out, and then they leave. So it sounds like they're jotting notes down as they go, like they're recording the information down. So you do notice that there are some people that report to them somewhat regularly when they show up.
I would like to talk to the people who are spoken with by them.
Okay. Which one would you like to speak to? The old man or the young child?
I'd probably scare the crap out of the young child.
That might be to your advantage, depending on what you're going for.
This is true. You know what? I'm gonna do it.
Daphne could collaborate. Like women are totally allowed to interact with kids as much as they want.
This is true. Yeah, I would rope Lady Daphne in on my little idea.
Yeah, so I just happened to come across this super adorable kid. Can't resist playing a game of remote village hopscotch or whatever the kids are playing.
Yeah, you walk by and him and this young boy and these other kids are playing with a ball or whatever, and you happen across them and they notice you and they kind of bow somewhat awkwardly and respectfully as you show up. They're playing soldiers. How do you interact with them? Do you just ask them questions or casually, or do you
I'm gonna butter them up a little bit, oh, you are so polite. Someone's been teaching you your manners, haven't they?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are your names?
They give you all their different names. There's 3 or 4 of them in the village that regularly hang out around in front of the little inn, and they ask who you are.
Oh, well, my name is Daphne, and this is such a charming little village. Were all of you born here?
Oh, pleased to meet you, my lady. And you see, like, some of them are like whispering with one another, and
Yeah, I'm just gonna like lead into like questioning them like about their life stories and what they want to be when they grow up. And if they say soldier, I'm like, my very good friend Lysander, he's very good with his sword.
I'll give you a bonus for that one. Okay. So they're like, oh yeah. Some of the boys go running over to Lysander, and they're like taking notice of like his arms, like his weapons at his side and stuff. And it's like, can I touch it? And like they they want to see like your sword.
Oh yes, but be very careful. It's very sharp. And so he'll actually take out the blades that he has and just making sure that the sharp edge is away from the children. The blade flat in his hands, and he'll show them, and he'll tell them the entire backstory of how he got the swords and what battles they've seen, but he won't go into detail about the gore. Doesn't want to scare the kids, unless some of the kids are like, oh, did you kill anybody? Lysander will just wink.
One of them is very bluntly, the one that's actually the sort of informant for the Sardaukar, very bluntly asks, what happened to your face? And the other one tells him, shut up, that's not nice. It's like, wow, I want to know. How did that happen?
Well, you see, what had happened was... Sorry, I had to use that line. Long time ago, when I was first starting out, I was supposed to protect someone, and, well, I wasn't doing my job properly, so when they were attacked, I jumped in front of them instead of doing what I was supposed to do. And the sword got me right across my face. Blood everywhere.
They're all like, oh.
And I couldn't see. Sadly, I was unable to protect the person that I was supposed to. And this is why it's very important to do everything that you're told to do and listen to your parents.
One young lady who's very observant looks to Lady Daphne. Is she the one that you're protecting now?
Yes. And I'm going to do a much better job than I did back then.
Pat, I have every confidence in you, Lysander.
I'll remember that the next time you try and run off.
I'm testing you.
Lysander just kind of chuckles for the kid's benefit and puts his weapons away.
He's so boring otherwise, I'm right.
He just sighs heavily.
So you make a conversation with the kids, and you come to realize that the very blunt and informant is the one who's very forthcoming with information. So did you want to spend momentum to get any additional information out of them, as you've already captured their attention successfully?
If we have it.
I think you do.
I have us down as having one momentum. Because I read it down when I'm told to write it down.
I believe that's enough. Let me double check. I believe one is sufficient to spend.
One buys you an extra dice or a question of the GM.
Yes, you're right. Yep, 1 point per question. Yeah, go ahead. You can ask whatever question you want.
I also have passive scrutiny.
Ask that question. Make
Okay,
him,
what
make
would
him
be
tell
a
you
good-
no lies.
Um, what would be a good question?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm like, I had ideas, and then roleplay
'Cause
happened.
I would like overall I would like to know what sort of information this kid is feeding the Sardaukar.
Mm. That's a little bit more of a delicate. Well, for them, I mean, he is a blunt speaker, but yeah, you can that for you would have to roll communication for. Not terribly difficult, I don't feel. But I will, just for fun, I'll throw a threat your way. Make it 2.
Can I assist a communicate roll?
You can. You absolutely can. You can roll 1d20, and you have to just choose communication and truth, I want to say, for this one.
That makes sense.
You can assist Rachel in her communication test. Just need 2 successes.
Hey. Well, truth and communication I'm pretty good at.
I rolled a 12.
Ooh. 1.
That below?
Let's see.
Got a 1, that's
that is
2
not
successes.
a success, but 1
Already.
success.
Nice. Did you roll below your target
Calculation.
number ever?
No, I don't think so. My communicate is 5 and my truth is 5.
So if you rolled a 12, that's above. So no, it didn't help, but she didn't need the help. Lady Daphne's charm is more than sufficient to pull the information out. What is it specifically you wanted to know? Like who what they're reporting to the Sardaukar?
Yes. Hopefully in such a way that they don't realize what they've been asked.
Okay. That's, yeah. You managed to get that information from them. So you're like, so what exactly, like, I noticed that you were talking to, you must be very trustworthy. You tell them something like that. And like, oh yeah, the soldiers, Captain Joblo, he always asks me questions about stuff. And I always tell him about who's coming in and out of the village. New people like you. And then he's like, he kind of realizes as he's like overstepping his boundary a little bit. He's like, but I don't always get asked that. Very badly lying to you.
I'm just not going to say anything and hope that the kid feels compelled to fill the silence with more talking.
Yeah, he's like, let me show you my ball. And like he turns around and he's like, he goes to show you like how far he can kick the ball or whatever. And the girls are always like, oh, okay, whatever. They roll their eyes. So you have that little interaction. And then you kind of go about your way with that, armed with that additional information. Next, we have Pardo. What is Pardo doing this week? I imagine you're fashioning the
extra
forgeries?
spheres. Yes, the forgeries.
Take us through that process, if you will.
Yeah, Pardo takes the kitchen sink and makes sure it gets the water he requires. This is simply for washing his hands. It's not important for the actual forgery, but
So it's just a ritual.
It's just a ritual, like cleaning of the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know.
Dirty stuff that's gonna happen. Sure.
And he starts taking like glassware and pouring things into them. He's requested quite a few machines. Like there's a little distillery for just separating the liquids that he's combining. By the end, he has enough decoys for every member of this little group to carry with them.
Nice. So you fashion them. I'm imagining you're fashioning them out of like glass or something.
Oh, yeah,
like
glass.
That, just to kind of give it the illusion.
It's like glass spheres, and they're filled with something that crystallizes inside of the glass. So he just pours it in, make sure there's no air bubbles, and then sort of seals it up.
Yeah, it's hard to recreate them exactly. Like somebody who knows what they're looking for will easily spot these are forgeries, but to the common passerby, at a glance, you're probably going to fool them very easily. This is going to be an understand role for you, I would imagine, because it's crafting, like it's like knowledge of using machines and crafting a thing. So yeah, it would probably be something to the effect of that. The drive, I'm a little baffled on what would be fitting. This is the opposite of truth.
I feel like
This is
power
subterfuge.
would be good for me here because of my
Yeah.
statement.
Oh, what's your statement? Share with the class, please.
He who can destroy a thing controls a thing.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Perfect. Go right ahead.
All right. And would it be all right if I spend momentum?
Absolutely.
How much do we
I'm
have?
good with it.
One
One
left,
We have
momentum.
I think.
Okay. Oh. I would like to... Spend threat to get the first to die, spend one momentum and another threat to gain the second. And
One threat for you? Sure. Let me
one
add
threat
that to
and
your
then a
tally.
second threat to get a second die
Excellent.
to get 2 bonus momentum to spend after this, like with the twisted mentat bit.
So you're able to well, that one helps you identify flaws and
It helped me
exploit them, right?
identify flaws and put in weaknesses. So I was hoping to add a weakness trait to these, that they're volatile. Like if they were thrown, they'll shatter everywhere.
Cool. Okay, I like it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
make some convincing copies. We'll say. Do you pass them out to like? Does everybody have a pair of these, or?
Yeah, everyone has a pair of these. Give one to Davos, to Lysander, to Norma, to Daphne. Have a pair for myself, and a set for Gwillian.
Shiny little bombs. Cool. Okay. Excellent. All right. So that is, unless there's something else that anybody wanted to do, that is what you've done throughout the week. And then at the end of the week, that's where your operation will begin. Any last remarks before we begin?
Yes, Gwillian would like to lay out his plan before we begin the operation. But Daphne, go.
Yes, I have one question. So
Mhm.
this is a new village. It's very remote, but that kid was keeping his eye out for new people.
Mhm.
Like, that is strange and interesting. And so while I'm doing my whole misdirection thing, one of the things that I would like to sort of slip into asking a couple people is like very general questions like, oh, how fast is the village growing? You know, do families come here to settle a lot? Is it on any trade routes? And sort of get like,
It is along a trade route.
Yeah.
If you recall, yeah, you use like a merchant caravan to get here, and it continues beyond that. And there's other outlying towns like this, but nowhere near this valley. It's like they were specifically chosen to be placed here as like a ground, as a liaison of sorts to the Sardaukar outpost on the Sand Peak Mountains.
okay, that is. But like, so no one noticeable or attention grabbing other than us has been around recently?
Outside of it's you and the group that came in with you, the merchants that came in from Ishia, from the city. They were there for a little bit and then they kept on going. Like they were maybe there a day or so. They traded and then they kept on going along the trade route.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, they were reporting information about anybody who passed through the village, from what you can tell. So they are obviously keeping an eye on anybody who's coming in and out of the area, and if anybody stays here for a very long time, they typically want to know. That much you've gathered. Towards the end of the week, I'm assuming that Gwillian slips away and rejoins the group somewhere at the inn or outside of the inn. How do you?
Well, there's always a Sardaukar Gwillian and a real Gwillian. It's just which is only known by me and you.
One of the face dancers. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I lay out the following plan in the safe space we have swept for bugs. We need a feint. Here's all the information we learned, which we all heard as players. So, we need one group, the larger group of us, that includes Davos, Lysander, and Daphne, to lead Davos's people, his smugglers, up the river. They're trying to sneak in, but you need to get noticed. You need to make it look like you weren't trying to get noticed, but you did, and then you need to run for your lives. The smaller group, including myself and Norma, move through the forest, which is unguarded, to get to the house. Pardo can calculate where he is best suited using his mentat powers.
There
That plan.
seems to be something interesting about this location area. The town is new. It was given to the people.
Yes, there are hundreds and hundreds of Sardaukar guarding this valley. That's why we must use a feint. If we make one group, we're going to get caught. Whatever's in that house is a dangerous secret.
Aye, and
Whoever.
the person, the marriage seems to be a marriage of great importance and secrecy. You are either a pawn or you are a player in this game. With us trying to deliver these, it feels as though we're
the pawns.
Risking.
We're
And
the
what are we
expendable
breaking
pawns
up?
of our house. This is
And
what
why
we
deliver
do.
these to this person to possibly break up this marriage? I feel.
Possibly. I don't care. Our queen sent us to do a job. I'm going to do the job.
Be careful. The word expendable is hanging on the back of my mind.
Yes, we are
I'd like to
always
retire
expendable.
someday.
I hate to tell you, Davos, arm around your shoulder. We're entirely expendable.
Oh, it's not lost on me. Just pointing out the mere gravity of the situation.
I do have a question for Eric. When Daphne was given this mission, is it just make sure she gets the box or make sure you give her the box?
It's more like the contents of the box is the message that is only known by the recipient. Like, they're gonna know what this means when you give it to them.
Okay,
And when that little aside that she made, where it's like it's time to stop hiding, that seems to imply that she knew where she was, where Celeste was for all this time, and now she decided to make this move.
All right, so it's not necessary for Daphne to be the one who hands the box over.
Not necessarily, although
Okay.
it's curious why she chose you to do it. Why she chose you to go along with the entourage.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out if Daphne would insist on going with Gwillian and Norma.
It's up to you. Actually, it might be up to Lysander. Lysander might have a thing or two or three to say about that.
Oh, I have a plan for that if you do insist. Feel free to insist to me privately.
Okay.
We'll make sure that Daphne is with Lysander no matter what.
That seems foreboding.
Oh God. Yeah, I think Daphne will say that this has to do with my house, and I respect what you're trying to do, but I think I should go with you and Norma.
Do you say that in public or just to me at some point?
At some point, yeah.
Don't worry, I'll make sure you're with Lysander and with us.
All right.
He'll probably
With
kill
that
me
being
later,
said-
but you're the boss.
Pardo, I imagine
Missed it by
going to you individually, like handing you like these 2 little fake sapphire jewels, quote unquote, that you can have on your person as a just in case.
Yeah, only
anybody
Pardo
else?
knows who's got the real ones. One of us does.
Sure.
And I inform everyone that they are the fake, even if it's the real set. Just to let them know, like, these are fake. If you get into trouble, throw them at the ground. Try not to stand too close.
Very good. Davos, give me a communication check, because if you're going to convince your contacts to go up the river towards this, into Sardaukar territory,
Mhm.
they might say no. Just saying.
Pretty charming. That's 2. That's a 7.
I'm gonna say it's 3 difficulty to convince
3
them to go out
difficulty.
there. Yeah,
Well,
unless you
Can
want
you
to
use one of your
master it or something,
focuses? Because if your focus,
yeah.
okay,
I am gonna be absolutely charming. Like, promise a heavy payoff. Just trust me. It'll be fine. And if I ever let you down.
Also, Daphne, please remove that last momentum from the pool.
Don't ask why. Okay, Davos, what did you get in terms of your roll?
3 successes.
Right
Because
on
I
the
rolled
money.
under my 6.
Shit.
Yeah.
Any 20s?
Nice.
Any complications or no?
No. Nope.
Lucky
No.
you. Okay,
Sweet.
so you're like, you haven't steered me wrong yet, Davos.
Nope. Nope.
I'll take you up on your deal.
This is
What
going to be the first time.
what's
I
the-
mean,
I mean, I will eventually, but hey,
What
that's the
what is
way
it
it
that you're
goes. The business
selling
goes.
them on? Like, why would they want to get on a boat or whatever and go up or follow the river up towards Sardaukar country?
oh boy, this could be good.
And I promised them one of our special cats.
Those Bashars do like those large cats. What can I say?
I can have
All
one
right,
shipped
then.
to you, no problem.
Custom
Just
colors.
make sure it's got a large enough litter box, or you're going to be sorely disappointed.
And just for you, I'll make sure the fur is in swirls.
Do you actually bring in one of those cats from Jabberwock, or you just
No,
like,
we're not toting around a fucking
Okay.
cat like giant
Delivery
saber-tooth
after
cat.
services rendered.
Delivery,
It's an
COD,
IOU.
man.
payment first?
I owe you once services have been rendered.
Right. Yeah, this
Okay,
is
fair enough.
and
Say no
I
more.
mean, to sweeten the pot, I'll probably give him some of the profits from the legitimate sale again, just to sort of be like, here, look, up front.
All right,
And then you
you're
get-
on the
you
up
get-
and up, that's fine.
You get an awesome cat,
Also,
Okay.
you could be like, we're the reason you just stole a bunch of spice.
Yeah, there's that too, which I
I was
didn't
gonna
want
say,
to
if you're
press
gonna use
too
any
much.
of the assets you just recently acquired, and he's like, wow, okay. So you pay him off and you're like, yeah, and I'll throw in a cat too, sure, whatever. Doing business with the Sardaukar. Okay, well, it's a highly competitive, but fine. He agrees to your plan to go. How exactly do you want to go up the river? Do you want to like charter a boat or something, or you just gonna walk
we're-
along the?
Some way that makes sure they get caught
Okay.
without looking like they're trying to get caught.
Brown car, got it.
I feel like we want to PT boat this thing up the river and just like say we're on some stupid like night cruise. But
So yeah, I actually think that's a
ferry
good
boat or
idea.
something?
They rent a boat, but they make sure that nosy kid sees them rent the boat.
right, like we're just trying to get noticed. We're gonna
Sure.
totally play it off like, oh, we thought, you could see some cool wildlife at night on the river,
Yeah.
And then run for
Who's
their
on the
lives.
boat?
and then run for our lives.
Just a group of smugglers doing some nature watching.
On the boat,
Sure.
on the boat would be Davos, Lysander, Daphne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Where's Pardo going?
Yeah, where's Pardo and Norma?
Oh, also, I tell Lysander, the minute the Sardaukar come for you, turn your shield on. They have las guns. They won't use them if they think they're going to nuke the valley. Make them see you turn it on.
Norma's with
Understood.
William.
Yeah, you're
All
with
right.
me. You're with me, Norma. Pardo's the one who gets to decide where he wants to go.
Pardo's going with the river troop.
Ooh, interesting. So Davos and
Davos,
Pardo.
fake Daphne.
Yeah,
Lysander's gonna kill me.
fake Daphne is also FD or face dancer. Okay, excellent.
So any rolls
understandable.
fake Daphne has to make, use the face dancer dice pool, which I have the default sheet if you need it.
All right.
I mean,
And
technically, Gwillian's doing it because Daphne ordered him to.
Correct.
So it's my fault, Lysander.
Lysander would
Lysander
still go
And
after
Lysander just has to
Come on, you should be used to this by now.
figure out who he's going to be mad at.
so Daphne, Norma, and Will are the forest team.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. I got it. All right, so you're gonna go at the end of the week. What time of the day do you plan this out at? Is this like happening in broad daylight?
Oh,
or you
no.
go at night?
Needs to be the middle of the night, so the Sardaukar will want to rush the boat.
Sure. They easily see lights on the river. Sure, they'll swing by. Okay. And the forest
I would
team.
presume that they're trying to not get caught, quote unquote. So it's
Right.
no lights on it.
They will be
Sure.
all as stealthy as
Right.
possible, but the kid is gonna rat us out, and we know that.
Okay,
so, like-
that works. That's perfect use of that.
Oil
Yeah.
before it began.
Right.
Excellent. Forest team, I need you to give me a move check, please.
Do we all do that, or?
Forest team. You're not the forest team.
Oh, I'm not. I thought
No.
it was.
You're the boat team. River.
Oh, river team. I'm team.
So-
I'm team boat.
Your team boat. Individually or one of us
My-
for the group? How do you want to do it? Well, I guess it has to be one of us and the other two support.
Yeah.
First.
I probably have the highest move, but I don't know. What's your move, Norma and Daphne?
My move is
my-
4. I'm going to add my duty. Upholding my house is everything is my drive statement.
Yeah,
So that would be a
6
total
with
of
stealth,
11.
What was
6
your
with stealth, and with duty a total of 14.
So me with
Trying to be in
You need
duty.
to beat
For
a,
me
you
with
need to beat a 4.
so me
four
with
successes.
move and truth, Eric, and you know why I'm using truth. I have a 14.
Nice.
So I should do the primary roll, which means you two can roll first to see if you give me free successes.
And 1 die, right?
Yeah.
1 die. Yeah. Your total of 4 successes. If you can pass
Ooh,
that.
I rolled a 3.
you're in.
1 more. Yeah.
Nice.
That's 2 from you guys. I'll take my
Wait,
chances.
Was that below your? Was that below? Did you have a focus for that one?
Me, no.
Did
Okay,
you have a
okay,
focus,
so you have
Norma?
2. I did, but I did not get low enough.
Okay. I'll take my chances with 2 dice. We only need 2 successes. 13 and a 9, so that's actually 5 successes because that I do have the infiltration focus and stealth focus.
Perfect. I knew you'd do it. Go ahead and take a momentum.
Okay.
Collectively, as a group, you move subtly through the thick forest, and you manage to do so at night, while the other Sardaukar Thopter is like flying overhead, not seeing you. They're focused on the boat solely. So as it's like subtly making its way down the riverside, they both converge on the boat. On either side, they fire a warning shot right in the middle of the right in front of the ferry, and you see your contacts, Davos. They take out their las guns as well, and they point them up at or they start getting into ready positions. You know. You see, one of the things you noticed, William, when you were infiltrating the Sardaukar outpost, they have suspensor buoyed suits, so they can just leap out of the Thopter and they just float down harmlessly. wherever they need to go, silent as falling leaves off a tree. So you see they fire like a warning shot right in front of the ferry, and like these floodlights completely drown everything on the boat. So you're completely covered in light.
Oh crap!
And you hear this loud, blaring, commanding tone: "Turn the boat around, or you will be
Shield
fired
time.
upon." Shields up. Yeah, you activate your shield, and they see that when the light refracts off of it, it has this like bluish hue to it. And you hear one of the other Thopter Sardaukars like yell, "Shields!" And do you stop the boat, Davos, or do you forward, onward?
Your goal was to get chased a little, but not die.
Right. So he'll sort of slow it down and it takes forever to turn and just kind of like look at him like engines kind of this is just fucking boat, right? And then slowly putter away, and if they start to get angry, just throttle it and get the fuck out.
Give me a move roll. This is utilizing your piloting.
Okay. Oh, my piloting. Cool. How do you get personal momentum? I can't even remember at this point. Like,
It's not
what's
personal.
determination?
So determination is your personal momentum, essentially. You can get an automatic success or do anything momentum does, but better.
Now I'll save it.
You need
I'll
3
roll it.
successes to evade them. Success.
Okay.
Or no, I'm
do you have
sorry.
any-
I'm sorry. Determination is an automatic 1. It's 2 successes if you spend it.
Oh, cool. Do we have any momentum?
We have 1.
Yes, we have 1.
1. Can I use that? Anybody care?
I'm good. Also, thanks for the follow, Fellwinter 08.
I will
Double
use
08.
that.
I don't want anyone to die on this boat, so have the momentum. I mean, except your contact. He can die. I don't care about him.
Man, I kind of want to keep him alive. He's been a good dude.
You
That
know, you gotta
is.
give him a cat.
We have a lot of cats. It'll be fun. We'll just be like, oh man, that cat didn't get to you yet. Shit, shipping's a bitch in Dune world. I got a 2, which is way under my.
That's good. That's 2 successes, I believe.
Is it at or under?
At or. Equal to
Oh,
or
so-
under.
I got an 8, which is at, and then I got a
nice.
12, which is totally under my total score. So
5.
that's 5.
Oh shit! Wow. Okay.
Boom.
Great. Yeah. So you blew it out of the water again. You get 2 momentum, and you're just maneuvering the boat in such a way that even their warning shots are like going into the water, and you're just easily maneuvering on the very wide berth of the river. You're maneuvering it expertly, and some of them jump off, like they start floating down to try to like get a hold of the boat. Specifically, we're gonna say 4 of them in total jump down, and they try to reacquire the controls of the boat. They don't come down with las guns, however, they come down with blades.
Bastards.
They move like this, like a triangle, as a coordinated and synchronized as a unit. So all 4 of them, one of them actually goes right for the controls, while the other 3 sees Lysander and instantly assesses him as a threat. And 2 of them drop down right next to you, and the other one right in front of you, surrounding you with blades, ready to strike. Okay, I'm going to spend threat and have them go first, because yeah. Let's see, espionage. And they're going to attack you. It's 3. They're going to try to subdue you. Because you're wearing a shield, any fast-acting projectile or weaponry just gets instantly refracted by the shield itself, the body shield that you have. But they're trained in the slow blade, meaning they know how to get inside of your defenses, and with a blade, they'll push through the shield and they can actually attack you. They're going to try to disarm you, all the 3 of them. They're trying to tackle you, knock you down.
You got a boost.
One of them
from
moves behind
Lycan.
you, and yeah, one of them moves up behind you and tries to use a garrote, sort of basically grab you from behind, while the other 2 move in with blades. You're looking. Oh shit! I rolled a nat 20 because, of course, but I got 2 successes on the one. So I'm going to say that they take a complication. However, you need to beat 2 successes with your battle roll.
Eric.
Big Daphne screams, ah!
Eric.
Yes.
Would you say the Sardaukar are all highly focused on what's happening on that boat?
Oh, yes.
Very much focused on that and nothing else, really?
Correct.
That's when Gwillian quietly floats out of the back of the Thopter and makes his way alone towards the villa with the real gems.
Excellent.
Nice. I am going to use my bonus from Lord Lycon. And here we go.
All right, go for it.
3 successes. Not including the bonus. That's on its own.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, you managed to, as one of them tries to like garrote you from the back, you managed to move out of the way just in time, elbow him in like the face mask that they have that covers their face, just whoosh, crush it, and they kind of like move back. It is your turn. You can retaliate if you wish now. You evaded them and outmaneuvered them sufficiently that you can actually, you've repositioned yourself in such a way that you can actually retaliate and take them out. You just need to succeed once on each to defeat them because they're not named characters. So proceed as you will.
Okay, here we go. 1 success.
1 success. Let me see. Not enough. You see, describe how you like move in and try to like spar with them. They're all shielded, of course, so like you're like the shields are like brushing up against each other, and there's like a flash of blue, and like as you sort of like have this discordant fight with one another.
Quick question, so we get
ship.
used to this. What was the difficulty of that 1 success roll that failed?
Ever rolled the attack, so I would have to roll as a Sardaukar to get the successes. It was actually 2 difficult because they rolled well beneath they rolled a 6, so they effectively give them 2 successes.
The reason that comes up is if any of you fail a roll that was difficulty 3 or higher, you get advancement points.
Yeah, no threat on that one. that was a natural 6.
Oh, you don't need threat for that. If the difficulty at the base level is 3 or higher and we fail, we get advancement points.
That's right, correct. And it's also if I drop like 3 or more threat on you,
yep,
then yeah, you take it.
Correct.
Excellent. So yeah, you reposition as best as you can, but they're still encircling you. They're still in sync with one another. One of them tries to grab controls away from you, Davos.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to respond?
So he's going to take one of the fake jewels out of his pocket and slowly push it through the I guess wrap it in something or like cover his hand and slowly push it through the shield and then just try to crush it against the dude's body. So then hopefully the fast refracting shards will reflect off the shield.
Oh, that's good.
Like
inside the shield into his body.
Yeah, inside the shield.
That sounds like a move action more than a battle.
It does.
Use your determination for this.
I'll set up the difficulty here for you in just a second. On.
Yeah, I really want this to work, so I'm going to spend a point of determination. And
wow. Okay, automatic success. You don't need to. You actually don't need to roll
really?
Even unless you want to generate some extra momentum potentially.
Yeah. No, no, because I generated a bunch last time, so somebody else can do that this time. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, you one of them moves up and tries to like grab a hold of you and grab a hold of the ship, and just as they do that, you slip your hand in past the shield. You crack the jewel on the side of the helmet, and there's like a big flash, and it's like his optics get all fucked up, and he's like having to like pull away, like just as that happens, you pull hard on the boat, and it goes like sideways a little bit, and the one of the Sardaukar that's facing off against Lysander falls backward. Like you see him just go like take advantage of that situation, just elbow him in the face and like knock him out into the water.
Nice.
Splash. -1 Sardaukar. The other one is effectively blinded right now, and he's like he's taking off his helmet, like opens back up. He's not going to be able to act. The other ones have already gone. You see the rest of the smugglers are pointing like they can't really shoot the starter car with the shields on, so they elect to do something else instead. It's an old it's like a fishing vessel.
Okay.
So they grab the netting and they throw it all over the top of the one that's attacking you.
Mhm.
Let's see something here. At least two of them there. And one of them rolled a 2. Shit. Okay. So
Nice.
they sling the net over and underneath the solder car, and they both pull at the same time. And this guy just goes whoop, boom, hits the floor, the deck of the boat, and they just kind of slide and pull him back out. So now Lysander is only facing off against 2 solder car instead of the 3.
Okay, cool.
How would you like to proceed, Lysander? You want to try to intimidate them? You want to try to like knock them off the boat, finish them off? What do you want to do? So far, no one's died or drawn blood.
Well, that's true, but like I don't see the point in just intimidating them when I could kill them.
Okay, go for it. Would you like to spend any determination points to do so, or any remaining momentum to try to add additional dice? Or would you like to pay me some threat?
Hint, yes. You're fighting
What?
Sardaukar. Get as many successes as you can.
I have 2 determination points, it looks like, so yeah, I'm gonna use 1 on 1 each.
Oh shit! Okay. 1 second.
Did that make sense?
You only have to beat 1 success, and by spending a determination point, you do manage to dispatch the 1. Did you want to spend an additional 1 or no? Or did you?
Made 1 success. I think I would like to spend that other determination point.
Wait, no. If you spent the first
No, what?
determination point, you are at 3 right now.
Mm,
Determination.
yes, that's right.
Determination is a natural 1. It's 2 successes
That's right.
by itself.
Mm-hmm. And then plus anything else additional that you roll.
Right. So
Oh.
Lysander actually got 3 successes on that.
3 successes,
That's
more than enough to defeat the 2 Sardaukar, who got a nat only 1 success. So they both move in on you, and because they're unbalanced, you take advantage of that, and you barrel into one of them, and you pin them up against a piece of cargo. When the other one goes to like sink their blades into you, you move out of the way, and he ends up injuring his own comrade in the process. And that's when you take your advantage, and you just slip them the slow blade past the shield, and you just disembowel the one. They collapse on top of each other, and you push them both off the side of the boat, and they go splashing into the river.
Perfect.
The 2 Thopters are like swirling above, and they're trying to get a bead on you, but Davos's piloting is such that he's leading them on a wild goose chase down the river. Meanwhile, we shift back to the forest group as they make their way up the hill and onto the premises. There are sensor fences here. How would you like to bypass them? You want to just cut them open with a lasgun, or do you want to climb over them, or go underneath the wiring? What do you want to do here?
How high are they?
They're pretty high. They're like 10 feet tall.
So, fake Gwillian looks at Norma and says, "We were trained for this, and Prana Bindu our way under."
Oh,
Yep.
Nice.
I also have prana bin.
Yes, you do. This whole group does.
That as well.
It's actually why I was okay with you coming, because I knew something would come up.
It's almost like our whole group is made for this.
Perfectly made for this. Yes. Roll a move. Need 2 successes.
Fake Gwillian gets 2.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna add duty to this. Or is it just a straight move?
Move. You can combine move with duty if that makes sense for your character. Sure.
Yeah,
This is
'cause
actually perfect for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
oh,
duty
yeah.
drive is upholding my house is everything.
There you go. This
I
is
rolled
it.
a 3 and a 4, so 4 successes.
You're good. Yeah, you just like slide right underneath that wiring, no problem.
2 5s, so that would be 2 successes.
2 successes, excellent.
So +2 momentum.
I'm sorry.
Daphne.
I forgot Pardo was on the boat. I'm sorry. I thought you were part of the forest team for some reason. Didn't mean to exclude you. While that whole scene was taking place on the boat, did Pardo want to do something in particular?
I was going to say that at the end of the combat, Pardo just
have a
simply
captive.
clapped slowly.
You do
You
have a
get a
captive
what?
sidecar on board, though. He's in the net.
Oh.
Do you want to do something specific?
Would there be a way for us to communicate with their people in the Ornithopters, yeah?
Yeah, I would say so.
Alright. And there's a way to communicate with them?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you have a sidecar. You could use his
we have a
comm.
Sedekar. Take his comm and just go, yes, this is the ferry. You will abandon the search immediately, or the Sedekar will be removed from your services.
Oh, hostage situation. Nice. They have to roll discipline for that one. Give me a communicate roll. I'm going to spin a thread on that one because, you know, this is the sidecar we're talking about. They're like the uber elite. They always look out for their own. So I'm rolling 3 dice against you. I'm going to tell you what I get right now. Oh, shit. Okay, so this is discipline, self-control. They have a specialty in it. So that's 2. Just 2. 2,
Oh.
3. 3 successes.
Jeez, Louise.
Beat
Okay.
3.
Determination.
Determination point.
Determination time.
Good
We also
call.
have-
Good call.
4 momentum.
Yep.
4 momentum. If only this was an
Roll additional
understand,
dice.
I'd be doing something with threat. Spend 1 momentum for a bonus die. Just so
Sure.
I'm glad I did that. All right, that is 3 successes in addition to the
Perfect.
2, so a total of 5 successes here.
You get on the comment. It's like, we have one of your Sadakar captive. And it's like, retreat. And he's like, please move your thopters back a step and refrain from firing on our vessel, or else. And you see that they almost like don't. They actively get more aggressively closer to the and you see like the side open up of the thopter, and they're getting ready. The rest of them are ready to jump out, but they're like, they restrain themselves, and the thopters lift back up, and they let you go. Now we can continue with the rest of them, who easily made the roll to slide underneath the sensors. You get right up onto the side of the hill, where there's a large cottage there, completely made out of wood. There are entire fields of crops here. Animals, there's like little goats and stuff like that wandering around, penned inside. You've reached the cottage. There seems to be very dimly lit candlelight on the other side of the window. No signs of anybody outside, however. It's quiet as death out here. How do you proceed inside? And who goes first?
I think Daphne would want to go first, and
Perfect.
nevertheless approach as unobtrusively as possible.
A little music here for a second. You open the door. The door is seemingly open.
Well,
It's not
I
a
was
jar,
gonna
but it's,
say one thing really quick. Can I burn a momentum and we can ask if there's a Sadakar inside or not?
yes, you can. And no, there
Because
isn't.
of the hyper awareness. Okay.
Yeah, you like take quick stock. You like, my lady, please wait, and like you hold her back. You peer in through the windows for a second. You quickly assess the scene, and you're like, no Sadakar inside. And you kind of give her the motion to proceed. You push open the door. It's dimly lit candlelight. You peer inside, and there's a woman standing by a large table. She seems to be like skinning carrots or something like that into like a tub. She's well aware that you're here, so she doesn't stop what she's doing. You walk inside with the rest of your entourage.
Where is Real Gwillian during this? If I arrived on the other side to observe this?
Yes, sorry. I'll say that in the commotion, yeah, you managed to get down onto the banks of the river and you made your way up the hill to get to where the rest of the group were rendezvousing at.
I'm going to watch carefully what happens, and then at some point I'll make my presence known with the real gems.
Yeah. You see, she looks up for a moment, sees you in the candlelight, and kind of like squints her eyes and looks back down and says, "Well, you're here, whoever you are. I suppose we should dispense with the pleasantries. Get to the real reason why you're here," she says, and she kind of very subtly drops the carrot into the container, and then you see her just sort of palm the knife edge down behind her back and at her side. And she stands there. She stands up from her chair, the chair that she's sitting on, and you see she pulls back like she steps into the light a little bit more. You see the looks are striking. She's absolutely beautiful. She has duotone skin, and as you approach, you see like her eyes are even different colors. She pauses for several moments when you also move forward, and she sees your face in the candlelight. And for a moment, she kind of like, and you notice this, Norma especially, she tries to, when she realizes just who you are, she restrains herself as best as she can. You see, like, she just, like, her face kind of twitches a little bit, and she kind of like takes a deep breath and tries to calm herself. And she realizes just who you are and who's with you. She's like, "You're not with them. You're not with the Sardaukar." She just kind of like quickly assesses who you're with. Gwillian, how far back do you stay, or how close do you get to this woman?
I'm not actually inside. I'm like looking through a back window at the moment. Or if possible, I'll slip into the room, but not at least 20 feet away. I'm observing to see what happens when she sees the fake gems before I reveal myself.
Okay.
So Daphne will say, "Good evening, madame. No, we are not with the Sardaukar. I am here on the business of House Cheshire. You appear to appreciate your solitude very much. I apologize for the intrusion."
No apologies needed. Do you show her the box?
Yes, I have a gift for you from the matriarch of House Cheshire. These, I believe, belong to you.
She motions with her eyes to the table as if to say, "Put it there."
Put it down.
She reaches with her non-knife hand, slowly opens it, and looks inside, and then shuts it back. And as soon as she sees it, she kind of looks down for a moment. "I've thought about what to say to you for over 20 years. And here we are now. Here I am, speechless. I suppose we should sit, have a drink. I have much I need to share with you. Also, you should see your younger brother. Come out here, Massam. It's safe now." You hear sounds in the anteroom from the floor. Something opens, and these small little footsteps come out. 9, maybe 10-year-old boy, reddish looking hair, dark skin, comes out. He's got a Mala pistol in one hand. And he seems to have it at the ready. Not leveled at you, but he has it at the ready. And he's trying to be sly about it. He's keeping it behind the partition in the wall. He slowly comes out, doesn't say anything. At a gesture, he lowers his guard. She motions for all of you just to have a seat around the table where she was peeling the carrots. Do you stand? Do you sit?
I'm sorry, madame. My name is Lady Daphne of House Cheshire. I don't have any brothers.
I know who you are. I know who you are, she says. And yes, you do.
That's when I will step out and say, "I apologize, my lady." And then, do the "may I approach?" And I walk up and act like, "I'm so sorry for the feint," and I bow and kiss her hand. But we had
You
to
get that close to her?
Yes.
And she like pulls her hand away as you go to kiss it, and she looks at you, and she's like,
But
face dancer.
yes, and here
Looks
is
at the rest
why.
of you.
Yes, and here is why. We had to make sure we got you the real gems, and I opened the box. Clearly, you probably knew those were fakes.
I knew what they were meant to be, she says, and she picks one out and she drops it back in the box. You hand her the jewels?
I do, and hold on a second.
Spirit fires.
One moment.
I said secret messages incoming.
There you go. That's it. Otherwise, yes, I just give her the gem and go and sit down.
Okay.
I
She responds curiously because she hasn't had that. She hasn't been treated like royalty in a very long time. But she offers you a seat. She takes a big sigh, and Masum comes around, stands at her side. Before I was Bene Gesserit, I was part of House Iyasi. Adeline and I met on Ruchez during a court function, and we knew right away what it was we both felt for one another. My house had different designs for me, however. I was to be wed to a rival house in order to secure an ally against our sworn enemies, House Montani. Torn between duty and love, I chose to serve the sisterhood instead. This way, I thought I could be a benefit to my house and eventually be with her again eventually. Maybe not as a wedded wife, but perhaps as a consort, concubine. For years, I trained and achieved my ranking with the sisterhood. In that time, however, House Montani took their murderous vendetta against my family to its finality, wiping them out. In my grief, I fled Wallach, ran back into the arms of my beloved Duchess. Our love blossomed in the face of my tragedy, the full expression of which culminated in a child, an heir of 2 houses, she says, and she looks at you, Daphne. This was not to last, of course. We knew that it would only be a matter of time before I was tracked down and killed or exiled by the Landsraad to wherever they sent defeated houses, Tupile perhaps. Not even the sisterhood could protect me from that. So Adeline and I conspired, and we falsified my death. To protect your house. To protect you, my child. I spent over 10 years on Gamont, living under a different name and working for that fool Jailemi. One day, a nobleman appeared there, threatening to expose my secret existence to my family's old enemies. He said, unless I left Gamont for another place and sired an heir for his friend. They had needs of a reverend mother who was no longer with the sisterhood. So I left for Ishia. I spent some time with the locals in Seoul, and then I met him, the nobleman's friend. We were wed secretly right here in this room, she says, and she gestures. Those presiding, those few, were sworn to secrecy. I took no pleasure in any of it. I simply did what I had to do to survive, what I've always done. A year later, I bore him, and she looks over to Mastum. Never saw Shaddam or his friend again. But the threat still held. The Sardaukar regiment was moved to the valley and tasked specifically to defend this host. Despite all that, I still don't know what to tell you, my child. I would welcome you home, but I haven't known such a thing in over 20 years. My home sits alone, nightly, in a keep on Jabberwock. How would you like to respond?
Daphne's just having all the feelings right now. Like, I don't know what to say.
Everyone give me understand rolls, please.
I'll use truth for that.
That sounds
I will-
wise.
Also use truth.
Daphne, you should spend some momentum because this affects you.
Yes. Yes, I will spend a momentum.
Alright.
So we're down to 1.
You can have the last one, Norma. I'll just roll
Not
2
the
dice.
jewels.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna need it. Would house politics count for the understand roll for
No.
focus? Okay, then I just have 3 because I rolled a 3 and a 1.
3?
Nice.
That's freaking great. Hold on a second.
I got 2, so they win.
I also got 2 successes.
If you made 3, you made it.
Nicely done, Norma.
Wow.
And
You
great at
are
games
like
where I
a
roll
hawk.
low.
You're there and you're like, something's off. And like you look over and you hear something in the corner in the darkened part of the room. But before we get to that, you see, she looks at the jewels and she's like, as much as I want to accept this and go back, I can't. She puts it back in the little box and gives it back to you. Instead, let me give you something. House Iasi was descended from an old house major from the Butlerian era, House Plana. They made tremendous strides in medicine and scientific study. Their holdings are still on Ikaz. As an heir to 2 houses, this legacy is yours to take if you wish it. Be careful, however. Our old enemies, the Moritani, are still lurking. Though they're limping away from their last war of assassins with House Ikaz and ourselves, they still remember the scent of blood in the water. Seek out your inheritance with great caution, she says. And right then, Norma, around this time, you start noticing something and you're just like, shh, instinctively, and you look out, and in the corners of the room, something moves very, very, very slowly. And you hear like this little sound, and just as it's parting the shadows and entering into the light, you see what is very commonly understood as a hunter seeker.
Oh.
You see Kyra notices as soon as you do, and she goes, Hunter seeker, nobody move. Minimize sounds. Masum, remember your training. And you see the boy like takes a deep breath and tries to control his movements.
Good thing
It
we
starts
all have
moving
Prana
slowly.
Bindu in this room.
Almost all of you, yeah.
Oh no, every one of
Hunter
us.
seeker starts moving.
No, the kid. The other kid.
Yeah, she said, remember
It's
your
dimly
training.
lit. Yeah. You see, it's moving out of the depths of the darkness and into the light.
I would like
and it
to
starts taking up speed as it gets closer. What are you doing?
I would like to use that last momentum, since I disguise myself as Sardaukar. I have a las gun. I will use Prana Bindu to level it and fire before the thing can attack one of us.
Second. Okay. Shit. All right. So you see, Masum's like, I'm trying. He's like, and just as he's doing that, you see the thing's getting closer and closer, and it's like looking around. You know that hunter seekers don't have great view in dark places, so it's trying to notice any movement, and he kind of like he starts like getting a little bit nervous, and he takes a step back, and that's when the hunter seeker goes and zips right towards him, and that's where we'll stop.
What?
Oh.
That's all the time we have for this session, everybody. I hope everybody here and those watching at home enjoyed the show. We'll continue our adventure into the Imperium next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoyed tonight's program, feel free to check out our other awesome adventures and terrifying tales. In the way of awesome adventures, this Tuesday we have Exalted, Tomb of Dreams on the Onyx Path channel. Also, be sure to tune in this Wednesday for Fallout Radioactive Summers, run by our very own Space Lord Pajamas. It's going to be awesome. Friday, Rachel is running the timely titled game Punching Nazis using the Mora Cinematic Universal Gaming System by Mighty Narwhal Productions at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Go definitely check that out and check out the Kickstarter while it's still out. For Terrifying Tales, check out the season finale to Dwayne's Pathfinder 2E Strange Aeon Season 2, The Thrushmore Terror, on Thursday. Friday brings us Call of Cthulhu, Forget Me Not Part 1 at 5 p.m. Pacific. If the World of Darkness is your thing, Tyler is continuing the legacy of the dark and scary with Mage Technocracy Reloaded from Invictus with Love on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and on Sundays with the Mage Cult crossover game White Walls.
You forgot you.
At 4 p.m.
Oh no, you didn't. You did it out of order. I thought you were going to forget yourself.
I forget myself all the time. Lastly, at 4 p.m. Eastern this Saturday, this Sunday, yours truly will guide some poor souls into the cosmic horror world of Unknown Armies with our first storyline, Burn. And now for those of you who stayed after the credits rolled, it's time to vote for favorites. All players in this game can select another player as their favorite for that session for any reason. Recipients get a reward in the form of an advancement point for their character. For viewers, voting is open as well. You too can choose a new favorite for each week for all of our shows. But you have to be quick. Voting for the session ends just after the closing reel finishes, so be sure to cast your votes in the Twitch chat as soon as you can. Beginning with Sean, who played Davos excellently this evening. Who's your favorite and why?
Really, right as I yawn. I'm gonna go with Key for creating the extra dice with the kitchen sink, or the extra jewels with the kitchen sink.
That was really cool. And Key, who played Pardo, who's your favorite and why?
Who is my favorite? Oh, don't make me choose. I have to go with Gwillian for his amazing plan. I couldn't have thought of anything more complex if I wanted to.
Yeah, well, my head was spinning when I got those secret messages. Man.
Yeah, I tried to send that to Eric in the side as text, and I was like, but he got it.
Devin, who played Norma, who's your favorite?
Oh, I'm going to give it to Sean for his inside explosive.
And Rachel played Lady Daphne.
Oh wow. Yeah, Tyler, because that was a really complicated plan that worked out really well.
Thank you.
Very Dune-like, yes. And Ever, who played Lysander.
Oh my god. Shit. Gotta give props to everybody because that was just badass. Everyone came up with some awesome stuff. But the thought to smash the crystal upside the head inside of the shield. Sean,
that was really awesome.
take my vote.
Yeah. And last but not least, Tyler, who played William.
Goes to Pardo for being my secret compatriot. Yeah, only Pardo knows who has the real gems. Right. He was in on it the whole time.
Nice. Well done, all of you. And I've been Eric at Marone Recluse on Twitter. You can find me here next Sunday for Mage and Unknown Armies. Big thanks as always to our patrons for supporting what we do. If you want to be awesome and do the same, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/vorpaltales and keep up to date on what we're doing by checking the updated calendar on vorpaltales.com. And thanks to you, our viewers and fans, for tuning in. What die should we roll here for the prize support, Tyler?
It's a D4 tonight. Simply so we don't replicate people who have already won.
I rolled a 1.
Spetter Dave wins this week's $10 gift certificate. Send us
nice. Congratulations.
Send us your email in a DM or to vorpaltales@gmail.com that you use for DriveThruRPG, and we'll have them send you the certificate.
Awesome. Well, thanks again to Modifius for their support for this awesome game, and good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.